Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Our producer Samantha's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
How are you? No hoodie.
Not yet.
Because it's humid and hot.
It's toasty outside.
Yeah, it's very toasty outside. But hey, welcome to the show, everybody. We got a good one. We got some very, very, very famous special guests that we're about to talk to.
Yeah.
Some food ninjas.
Yeah.
Some badasses.
But before that, I want to give a shout out to Thompson Gas. And they're not a client of ours, but
Ooh, I smell a grift.
Yeah, I smell it too, and it smells like propane.
a BDM works for them, and then I switched out I got a big 120-gallon propane
I
tank.
saw it. He got that big.
And
that's nice.
And
this is because you heat like your pool and your hot tub
and the
with
grill.
it as well?
Yeah. It
Everything's
goes through a
tied
gas
in.
heater, and then a lot of people have them.
I'm like, what do you need all that for?
Yeah. They have them for like their whatever. If you use propane on a lot of people use ovens.
You could upgrade all of your kitchen appliances to
Yeah.
run off of gas. You know.
Yeah. So anyway, I just they're a really good company. And in fact, the tech, when he showed up, he's like, "Man, your last gas company did not do any of this to like the code to safety," and they changed it all.
Right.
Yeah, that's because you never use
Professional
companies. You always go with a guy that knows a guy that knows sort of how to do it.
And so they fixed it all, got everything up to code, even changed my line out of twist. The guy's like, "I'm gonna fix this." I'm like, "It still works." He's like, "Nope, no, I want to
do it right."
Yeah.
Oh, I like this guy.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
shout
yeah.
out
Doesn't
to
want
this
your
guy.
family to blow.
Who is this guy?
And the
Thompson? I shout out to Thompson for doing it right.
their propane prices were way cheaper than the other
Look
company
at
anyways.
you. Wow.
So Thompson Gas in Orlando, use them.
Hats off. All right.
All right. So we have an interview today, and I love all this new media and YouTubers and stuff. Our listeners know,
And these guys are really
crazy
funny, man.
interested in that.
Butler and I got lost in a mac and cheese video with these guys, and we were just cracking up because they're so weird like us. And I'm like, I subscribed and I'm on board, man.
Yeah, and from their YouTube channel, Healthy Junk Food, we got JP and Julia. How you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, getting caffeinated. It's not past noon yet.
I feel you.
Yeah, we're trying to get as much as we can too. But hey, guys, we really do appreciate you guys giving us enough time to sit down and chat with you a little bit about how you guys are kicking major ass on YouTube.
Yeah.
And well done with the videos. They're so good, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's so much fun, and honestly, as it goes on and on, it's like, oh, we just have to figure out another recipe, another video, and we have over 100 giant food recipe videos on the internet now, and it's like, do we make something giant, or maybe we should make small food? It's always the next project.
People love the giant foods. I watched your giant macaroni video earlier today, and
I went through a range of emotions when I watched Julia's macaroni. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah.
you got to go watch it. But I cried.
So let's
Me too.
let's go back now. I will tell our audience 2.3 million plus subscribers. On Healthy Junk Food, so I want to go back to
HELL, by the way. If you're gonna search it, just throw that in the Googs, you'll get it.
So, how did you guys start this? Where'd you get the idea? When did you guys start it? I'm interested in the background.
Yeah, well, we started back in 2013 when we first started dating because I was a bachelor and I just ate cheeseburgers and stuff. Actually, I bought like 10 $1 cheeseburgers and I would microwave one at a pop, whenever I was hungry. And Julia saw this, and that was a big red flag in a relationship. So she was just like, hey, listen, maybe we can cook your favorite junk food at home. So we started making like Big Macs and Crunchwrap Supremes. And I'm like, hey, we got to film it. That way, if we ever make it again, we can, watch ourselves back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were not culinary. I worked as a line cook, and we really needed to record ourselves so we can learn it back. But as you do anything a lot, you get better at it. And now we're making giant stuff.
Yeah. Now, when you guys started filming, videoing you making these things, did you put them on YouTube, and then all of a sudden you saw how many hits they were getting, and you were like, wow, there's something here? What was the transition of hey, I'm doing this because I want to remember how to make this recipe to, wow, yeah, there's a lot of people watching this.
Yeah.
I think it was always kind of based on entertainment. JP'd been watching YouTube and doing YouTube on his personal like comedy level page for a really long time. And when he first did a video, he was like, hey, welcome to my show, and he's presenting right away. But that's because he had a goofy notion of, hey, maybe, you know, I'll watch this back, or someone else, or I could share it with my friend or family. He always loved to edit videos, so that was a passion of his from the beginning. I don't think I had any idea what was going on. I just was there, and I was like, I'm making turkey bacon because it's healthy. And it was just my motivation in the back end to actually not go to a fast food restaurant. And it is kind of crazy because now, like, life is literally turned upside down from that. And I actually have to, like, figure out, like, intermittent fasting just to keep my weight down based on the kind of terrible food that we eat on the regular.
Yeah, you stole my question. That's exactly what I was going to ask, is because, like, both you guys, like, because I started deep diving into your videos, and both of you guys are relatively really good shape. I mean, you're fit.
Yeah.
You know, you like when you look at you guys, you don't honestly even see people that eat junk food. But some of the concoctions and things that you guys were coming up with are things that even my, let's say, how do I put this nicely? Even my bigger friends would never even touch, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Fair. I think, like, that's the thing. It's like, it's healthy junk food. It's the devilish side of what everyone's kind of like, not everyone's, but like some people's like crazy cheat day dream, or something that a child would think of. It's like, I want to make a giant macaroni noodle. It's like, that's impossible. And technically it really kind of was. But in the end of like the whole grand scheme of things, we're both actually real advocates for good health. And that's why in a lot of our videos you'll say, we'll take one bite for the health of it, because it's really not okay to eat too much, but it's okay to let go sometimes. But we work out, we exercise. I actually just got into yoga with the whole quarantine thing. I like sitting alone and meditating. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
The when you guys started getting some success, as far as, I guess I'll preface success by the amount of downloads and views you started to get. Like, what was the tipping point where you decided to, like, all right, this is gonna be what we do? Like, when? Yeah. Like, I'm always interested.
At some point, that hobby costume starts to fade a little bit, and you're like, wow, we are really in control of our own, like, for lack of another term, we have like a little company we've built here. And we've got the engagement level, and engagement is everything now. Like, when was that line where you were like, we have a decision to make?
Yeah.
We both worked full-time, and I was reading your website right before we jumped on, and you guys started full-time doing something else and started your podcast. Just like us, like, I used to work in radio, and JP was an engineer. I always worked part-time at a restaurant bartending just to make, because everything that we did with the YouTube channel was just a hobby in the beginning. And it turned, JP, you say the turning point, because I say numbers wrong and all of that type of stuff, or I'll say the wrong video. Was it the mac and Cheetos? Which recipe was it? Like, we just went viral in essence, and our numbers just went flying high. What video was that?
So yeah, I would probably say that the turning point would be, for us, was a little premature, because I wasn't really happy with where I was at in my job.
Sure.
And, a lot of people at the company were like, oh, he's doing this YouTube all the time. And then they saw, like, when we hit 100,000 subscribers, we got a plaque. So then that brought a lot of, like, awareness at the company. And so I said, hey, listen, you know, I don't see myself growing as far, but I would love to stay part-time. And they didn't honor that. So I ended up saying, like, I had to just do what I had to do. So I'm like, Julia said, how'd it go? I'm like, well, they wouldn't let me do part-time, so I had to leave. Yeah. And she's like, oh boy, now we got to really do this.
Right.
So we didn't have a turning point. We just prematurely, I just made a bold decision to, like, put a lot of my eggs in the YouTube basket.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're freaking me out, because that is, if I'm lying, I'm dying, Tom. That is exactly what I did. I came to the company and I said, I want to stay here and I'll do this, but I need to be able to protect myself and some of the interests that I have. And they were also saying, like you said, oh, he's only doing this podcast thing all the time, like you were doing your YouTube thing. Yeah. And then they didn't honor it, and I had to get my eggs and I had to march on home.
Yeah, but if you, I don't know how you feel, but me and Daniel talk about it all the time. It was the best thing ever that ever happened to us. We were forced by a company that didn't understand what we were doing or whatever, but they basically forced us out.
But he's right. Yeah. You nailed it with the word premature, because I was not prepared for that level of stress. My God.
Yeah, it felt premature at the time, but I don't know how you guys feel, but it's probably you look back at it, you're like, wow, this is the best thing. It forced us to turn this into our business.
Oh, yeah. We were on like 120% the grind. Like, there was no stopping us. There wasn't like, oh, I'm nervous or worried. We're like, no, we're going to kill this thing. Mm-hmm. So we went in very confidently with all this newfound time and energy and creativity. I don't think if we didn't do that, I don't think we would have had that stressful push, the do or die mentality.
And to bring it back, like, I guess like what I was trying to say is like we had those viral moments, but that's not what transitioned us out of our work.
No, but when that happened, then we're like, Mom, I don't gotta go home. Like, Mom, I don't gotta move back. But, right when you go viral, that's when you're like, we finally did it, because we spent 4 years creating videos. Mm-hmm. None of them went viral, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this little one started upticking, and then a day later, it's the largest viewed video we've ever had, and then subscribers come in, like, you just hit like every Bitcoin miner, and just like, like, you just see the subscribers going up 100 every hour, 200 every hour, and then you're like, oh my goodness. So I just like stayed up all night with the laptop open and a washcloth. But yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. And then we were like, don't get ahead of yourselves. Like, everyone goes viral. You're important for a week. So don't think that this is your new life.
Sure.
But what happened was, because we had 300 videos, they were like, oh crap, they're not just a viral one-hit wonder. Let me watch their other stuff. And we just got people binging the rest of our stuff, and that really supported us for a while.
That's amazing.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm sure you guys have thought about this. Or there's a lot of YouTubers or people that produce YouTube content, and if you go viral too early, then the people have nothing else to consume. But you guys had built up a base of content, and then it's almost like that seems like the perfect time. Like, you build a base of content, then you hit viral with one video, and then they have a lot of other content to consume, which probably makes them more engaged into your future content. Because if you just have one thing, people may like, oh, that's all they have, and then move on. It's like people are so fickle nowadays. ADD, the internet is like, oh, this, and it's like it almost happened at the perfect timing for you guys, because you had already been producing content. You had reps. You both are great personalities. You obviously are presenting it very well.
But what's the hardest part? Is it staying like up to like what you think would be a culinary or a food trend, or like what's the hardest part of trying to put out like content consistently?
Content creation and like the whole ideaism regarding it's like list and brainstorming, and we focus, and we look at what's going on in like the internet environment, but also what are we really passionate about, and what do we think is going to be creatively something that's going to like bam, hit them in the face, get people excited. And it's not basic at all. Like, we've got lists and lists of ideas that are all pretty freaking good. But is it that good? And it's that's why we continue to create every single week. There's a new video, there's a new idea, there's a new production, and it takes a lot of research and back end stuff.
Sure.
And that's why we've actually learned a lot culinarily throughout our entire like experience doing this YouTube channel. Every single video is different. Every single recipe is different.
Is it with that said, for you guys, is there like a how do I put this? Is it hard for you guys to keep the level of charm and the level or that border or baseline connection with your audience? Because I see a lot of guys, and we've even done it. We put out one video years ago, and it actually got picked up, and it was on The Tonight Show, and that was still a thing, and then it was on Ridiculousness and these silly shows. But we never really we did another one, and we really upped the production values, and that kind of killed the level of that connection, that spontaneity, that like homegrown feel. Do you guys have to kind of give and take with the level of like production values that you have to not make it look like
to produce.
Yeah, you don't want it to look like a TV show. You want it to look like JP and Julia are your favorite food friends are coming and they're doing everything DIY. Is that accurate or?
Well, I mean, I'm probably not a good example, but we started this just because like we really enjoy it. So a lot of the decisions we've made are because it's just something that we wanted to do. And I think that if you spend too much time trying to like figure out how to please everybody, you lose yourself. So I think just being authentic to yourself, regardless if your set gets better or your kitchen gets cooler or your ideas get more bizarre, as long as you're staying true to yourself, I think people can read into authenticity of that.
Yeah.
And I just don't ever want to fall into a trap of like, oh, I'm doing it like for some other purpose.
Sure. Yeah. Like when you shift the focus or maybe the core reason of why you're doing it, then there's no point to do it anyway.
So a trend that we've been, because we've been talking to a lot of YouTubers and podcasters and stuff because we're just fascinated by the independent media.
Even what we do as podcasters, that's like old media now.
And it seems like everybody has a core of listeners, viewers, like they're hardcores. Like for us, it's BDMs, and like we just talked to Mike from Mike's Weather Page the other day, and he calls his core the Coneheads, and like and every podcast seems to have like their core audience. Do you guys have like a core that you kind of interact with, that you get to know your hardcore
it's like
viewers?
Your human barometer.
Yeah.
I mean, we have like our silly names we give each other.
We compete a lot, and we kind of designed the name, which is kind of goofy and silly. But it's like if you're voting for me, you're a Julia Goo, or you're a part of the JP squad, or whatever. And it changes every single time because it deviates, But it's kind of the same idea. But if you
like your core audience loves to feel like they're part of like a cult.
Yeah.
So like the name thing, we started it kind of facetiously because a lot of these like erratic teenage YouTubers were just like on, it just seemed like they took a lot of speed and just were like, "What's up, guys? I'm Jake Paul. We're my Paul RP fam, Paul people." So we're just like, "Oh, let's just do the same thing." And then I said like, "Yo, what's up? We're my JPers. How you peeing? Pee strong, liquid legends." And now we got all these kids talking about their pee.
Yeah. I love that because it's organic and that's it.
I saw you slip it in. He's making the mac and cheese. He's like, this one's goes for the JP, the P Funkers, the JP Nation, the P. Yeah, you're throwing these. Okay, yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, we our whole channel is dedicated on double entendres and allowing the adults to laugh while the kids enjoy the food, but the adults can enjoy the subtle humor.
Yeah, is that important to you guys, the family aspect of it and making what you do accessible for all? Was that something that was always an idea that you had, or did it just kind of become that?
I think that when you deal with adult comedy mixed with like something that a kid could get excited about, when you have that comedic element, you're appealing on both levels. Just like Shrek works so well.
That's why SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah, for sure.
SpongeBob is a good example.
Well, you can watch it as an adult and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I need Advil if I watch SpongeBob.
Okay, maybe I'm still okay.
Well, Julia, you'll probably relate to this because you used to work in radio. It's like when me and Daniel, we came from radio background, and we used to complain all the time to upper management about like the FCC, and like we're like, we don't need a government agency like to like basically tell us like what you can and can't say. I'm like, the entertainment and the people that produce the entertainment will decide what is the appropriate and what's not appropriate, and you guys is like, hey, this is what we want and we're gonna do it this way and we're gonna do it appropriate for a certain audience, and kids can watch this content, and guess what, we're gonna self-police because
you guys self-police because you're not idiots.
Yeah, because it's beneficial for us, and it's like, of course everybody's gonna self-police because it's beneficial for them and their company. So you guys had decided what you wanted your audience to be, and that's what you're going to cater to.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're going to go out and just start cursing one day. Why would you do that? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But if you did want to, you could.
Yeah, you can, but it's like you would never do that because it would be directly against your own, what you want to do. So,
sure.
Yeah, I think it's all really based on like how you want to present yourself and how you want to be seen as well. Like, not to say like we're different. We are the same people, but I wouldn't talk like anything like on the internet that I wouldn't say in front of my mother. Like, it's just our own values and how you want to be portrayed.
Yeah, I think that's a good example. Like, would you say it in front of your mom? Because then it's truly family friendly. Unless, you have a real weird kinky relationship with your mom. Which,
what?
Right. Yeah. Well, hey, guilty as charged.
Yeah.
I think you'll like our show, JP.
I don't cuss normally anyway, so if I were to cuss on the channel, it'd be like hearing your mom say the F word for the first time.
Right, but that goes.
Like that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, but it also goes back to you hit the home run when you said it's just got to be authentic, and that wouldn't be authentic to you.
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys? Like, what's the bigger? I mean, you guys are already doing so well on YouTube, and that's kind of your home now. What's the next thing that you're doing now?
We're going to create a giant macaroni and cheese brand and sell it all over.
Well, Butler, our sales guy, he's a huge stoner too. He straight up said he'd eat it. Like, so he's already freaking out about your show.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many. What's interesting about being a YouTuber, and we've talked to we're buddies with Matt Mormon from Obsessed Garage, and his kind of business model is like, hey, I sell the products that I talk about. I put it together. I sell it on my site. He does very well. Some people are like, I'm a subscription based. I basically have subscribers and then are funded by our listeners or viewers. Some people are pure advertising, and
there's no rules.
What's cool is that literally whatever you guys want to do, you can do. And also, I'm curious if it seems like nowadays the giant corporations are starting to realize the value into all these independent media. And we saw it with Joe Rogan, right? Like, Spotify's like, all right, you are now worth, we deem you worth $100 million, and that's what we're going to pay. And
everybody's saying that's a bargain.
Yeah,
so.
It shocked a lot of people. They're like, wow, that is a large sum of money that he got paid. And then you're starting to see some of these independent entertainers or media get bought up by bigger companies. Do you think that's a possibility for you guys in the future?
Well, we've always talked about this. I really think that people should become like public opening, like stock markets. Like, I'll just trade JP today. I think, because like if there is a value to these certain creators, but yeah, the channels themselves, I've heard that some people buy YouTube channels. They want like the audience and all that stuff, and they want to rebrand it and all this crazy stuff. I don't really think that's anything that, just because it's our baby, I don't think that we would ever
Sure.
I don't think I would sell a YouTube channel. We always talked about it, like, we would just make another YouTube channel.
Right.
Then we do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, because you really do enjoy it. Like, you've kind of found your niche now.
Well, they would be buying you. I believe that if a company came in, they'd be like, hey, we want to be in the JP and Julia game because that's why you're successful. It's like, people are watching this. I mean, of course they love the content. You guys are doing creative content, but they're buying you. You guys are the personalities. You're what makes your YouTube channel successful. So it seems like
there's something that's similar to that though. And people don't really buy people. People partner. So there's a lot of big companies that might come in and say, hey, I love your podcast. I got crazy resources. I'm going to blow you guys up 10 more times, but now we're going to take a rev share of that. So that's kind of how those things work.
Yeah,
right.
Have you guys found that you put out a video that you think is going to be super popular, and for whatever reason it doesn't have the views you thought it would, and then you put out a video that you're like, "Whoa, why does this have so many views?"
Yes.
Yeah, all the time. Like every time we have a passion project, we're like, it's gonna go viral. Blah. We already pre-bought the balloons before the video went live. And then, of course, it just does mediocre. And then, like you said, you'll do a video where I'm like, oh, KFC's got a new chicken sandwich. Let me just sit on camera and eat it. I'm like, it's good. And then you upload it and it's got 1 million views.
Yeah.
So I think it all evens out, because as long as you're getting that viral video, whether it's something you love or hate, it averages out.
Yeah, and I had to learn a long time ago when I would write like a song or write a bit that I thought was super funny, that my own love for what I was doing and the fact that I like it, and I can hear it in both of your voices, the passion you have for your projects. So you're never gonna, no one else is gonna ever like it as much as you do, just based on brain math and the fact that you've already amplified the love in there. You know what I mean? Like, you've spent so much time with it and babied it that no one's ever gonna like it as much as you do. That's impossible. You're obsessed at some point. So.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I think regarding like the obsession to tangent towards like what we're doing is using it as a tool, and we're very fortunate for the growth of it. And yes, we work really hard, but there is that kind of essence of luck kind of sprinkled on top, like new opportunities that give us like a little bit more like elbow room to work with brands and to just kind of as, which is really a reluctant word that I never thought I would use before doing this, like as the talent and advertising campaigns, things like that. Last year we partnered with Hard Rock Cafe, and we're in their television commercials.
Nice.
and new stuff hopefully is in the works that is not finalized yet, so I can't say, but
Yeah.
It's like a very exciting opportunity as us as YouTubers are becoming the talent for real world campaigns.
Sure.
Where here we are suddenly in Los Angeles, and this girl that can't even put her eyeliner on straight is getting makeup done by, a makeup artist, and it's just, it flips the script to the opportunities that are to come. It's like we're open and we're moving forward. That's our goal, is just every day wake up, read our emails, see what's next, and try to stay creative.
I love it.
I mean, it's amazing what you guys built, and I'm sure you guys know it, but if you don't, you are soon going to be multimillionaires. I bet from the trends that I've seen and from what I've been watching, and how society has changed and stuff, you guys are on the cusp of like, all of a sudden you're going to have giant food brands. If not, it may be already happening, but like Kraft macaroni and cheese, like, hey, do this. I mean, I don't know what the Dude Perfect guys have made, but they seem to be multimillionaires
And
now.
that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah. And then
They're so famous. Oh my God.
Yeah. I remember when they started their toy brand. I'm like, wow,
yeah.
that's big.
And then the
show on Nickelodeon.
the Ryan Toy Review family. I mean, they are obviously multi-millionaires.
They bought an entire state of the United States. They bought a whole state for Ryan's Toy.
And you guys seem set up perfect to be the next in line to be you're gonna be so rich.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging with us, y'all, and giving us the time.
Of course. Thanks for having us. Thanks so much, Tom and Dan.
Yeah.
Nope. And if you want to check them out, it's Healthy Junk Food, JP and Julia, HELLTHY Junk Food. Find them on the YouTubes. Guys, have a great rest of your day and a great weekend, okay?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right,
Bye.
see ya. That is JP and Julia from Healthy Junk Food.
Wow, yeah,
Pretty cool.
It is. I know they're super humble and nice, and maybe they are like
They're
just
almost
like
too nice.
it's
There's
but
something up with
and they're dating and they weren't arguing.
it's just
They're a cute couple.
Don't trust them.
No, I do trust them.
Apparently, they made a Huberito video.
Yeah.
I was not aware.
I was gonna save that for you, and this Huberito thing is a
Delicious.
very big deal, and I trust anybody that has their thumb on the pulse of what's popping at, what was it, IHOP or Denny's?
Denny's.
yeah. And then
Well, it's not poppin'. That was 2006 or something. And it,
in 2006, that was
discontinued.
actually the correct slang word would have been, this is poppin'.
Probably.
and
This burrito's crack-a-lackin', Sam.
it has to be where there's production studios and these big companies are sitting back and they're like, what's a like a small show on like the WB now or something like
The WB hasn't been a thing since 2006.
I don't know, like
It's not still around. I
It's
thought
CW.
it was. Oh, the CW.
Oh, whatever it is. Like so,
whatever.
So
Michigan J Frog.
Let's name a
I love
show.
Michigan
What's a show that's like obscure show that's out that's kind of like
Guy's Grocery Games.
what is that?
Guy Fieri's grocery games show.
So maybe he's too big, but like I'm saying, like one of these shows, you're like, I didn't even know that was a show. That show will get less viewers than JP and Julia.
Yeah.
And then that show cost an insane amount of money to produce. Like some production company had to get actors and the SAG rates and the studio, and
they pared a lot of that down. Incrementally, you've seen bits and pieces of YouTube like stolen and put into traditional television. Like my good friend Rebecca, who does works with MTV and stuff like that. It would always start with a crew but then eventually it just trickled its way down to they would like
bare bones.
They'll drop ship her a camera.
Those reality type.
Here you are. You're the producer. You're shooting everything. Yeah. So
those reality type shows, yes, you're right. But I'm talking about like the sitcom or like whatever whatever they call like the episodic shows that they still produce. It's just like then you're like. The companies have to be sitting back and be like, well, these guys, they're just two people with probably, they got some good camera equipment now, but like nothing.
It's just the map is different. And that's why those don't work. And that's kind of what JP was tagging on, like when he was talking about the authenticity of what you do.
It's got to be real. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, why not? If I'm the production company, I'll just be like, well, I'm just going to go partner with JP and Julia.
Sometimes that ruins it.
And then just start funneling my advertising through them. Like they've got more advertisers.
You could, but sometimes that kills it.
Yeah.
Like the Ryan show, like you even said it, like if you're just doing a taste test of the Ryan Toy Show, like you said, I did my own test, and Maisie doesn't like the new ones as much as she liked the old ones.
Yeah, but at that point, they've already cashed out. I mean, it's like, what is your end goal? Like, it could just be pure passion project, but if, your end goal is to make...
One of the things that they did
$50 million, like then it's like I'll just take that.
Well, one of the things
never have to work
that
again.
they did, and I'd like to actually talk to these guys, like maybe we can collaborate in some way. Because
I think they want to.
I would definitely want to, and I'll tell you why. JP does an ad for this game that's on like a like an app game.
Yep.
Like let's just say for all intents and purposes, I wish I knew the real name because I can help him out a little bit.
I saw that too.
Yeah, but let's just say World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
But he does a live read for it. And I was like, and he does a damn fine job. And I was like, that's exactly what we do. This is exactly what we do.
Of course, yeah.
But I don't see a lot of people. I really don't. Now, arguably, I don't watch a ton of YouTube, but I'm on there more and more every single day.
Yeah. So
I don't see a lot of people doing the ads like he did it. Like he was like, "This is me, and I play this, and I'm vouching for it," and it was an endorsement.
I wonder if that's because of Julia's radio background. They're like, "Hey, just do it."
That's what I was thinking.
Do it like a live read.
That's what I was
thinking. Something,
And then he cut in him playing the game, actual
yeah.
footage, and I was like, "That's well done."
Oh yeah.
And I'll sit through it because the guy's funny.
Yeah.
Like he's a funny. Like Butler and I were laughing in here. He's just silly.
They got great personalities.
Yeah.
Is why
I like these guys.
Yeah, it's why it's successful. But man, I'm excited for people that start like that. And
what's inspiring to me? We got to keep getting. I have to talk to more and more of these people. Honestly, it's good for my brain because then it makes me think, oh, okay, we're on the right path. It's still possible because with this amount of work, that grind can sometimes. It'll wear you down a little bit.
Yeah. Every grind will wear you down, but it's just like they said, they saw it, they were forced to grind it out, they grinded it, and we're here right now on the.
Didn't know they were dating.
Yeah, on the maybe the cusp of being super rich.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I know people get uncomfortable. Like, why are you saying that? Like,
I like to watch their faces.
I feel embarrassed
like that because that's your awkwardness. Like where I have a tendency to go too far, you say like because awkward money conversations.
Because to me, it's the ultimate is like, you guys. Or you made it. Anyway.
Let's take a little break. We will come back and close out today's A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
We went a little bit long with JP and Julia, so let's jump in now with some voicemail messages. Get our app. It's completely free, and all of our content's on there, and we'd love it if you snag it. All our BDM shows are on there. All of our Friday free shows on Censored are on there. All of these ACTs are on there. All of our merch is on there. You can sign up to be a BDM. All of our hookups are on there. Our watering holes. You can connect to every place in sort of our universe all through our app and our website.
You can order your Father's Day bundle.
Yeah, Father's Day bundles.
You can get
on
the
there.
bundle.
Yep, those are selling pretty good. So I'd definitely get them, this, at least before next Wednesday, because I think
You
they'll
want a
be
pro
sold out
tip?
by then.
You want a pro
What's
tip?
the pro tip?
If you take the BDM golf/grilling towel, it's got like a little brass clip on it that you can hang on your golf bag or your grill. I like to use it because I have a tiny grill. It's actually the same one I got, the company got you, the griddle for her housewarming gift.
Yeah.
She's got a black, she's in the family now.
Yeah,
You're the only one, really.
Ah.
You're the only one that doesn't have a real good Blackstone griddle out there fajiting your balls off. But I like to clip my towel on my apron, and it hangs from the neck area, so you can just wipe your hands on it while you're grilling it.
Yeah.
It works great.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Little apron cutting board.
Really
Gonna cut a tiny anchovy or one tiny
You could
cherry.
cut one grape tomato on there, and
I think my tomato plant's dying.
well, are you
you're not taking care of it.
watering
I'm
it?
taking care of it.
My pepper
it's in
plant.
the sun. I'm giving it water.
So, was it in the direct sun all day?
My pepper plant.
Too hot.
It's
is-
half and half.
Oh, you're killing his creations.
Put it inside your patio.
Okay.
Because it's getting too hot outside. It like
Burning it up to a crisp.
Look
Yeah,
at all my
yeah.
peppers. It's flourishing.
no, yeah,
Look
yeah,
at that.
Yeah, that's
Those
nice
serrano
pepper.
peppers are going crazy. That's
I-
because every night I go out there to escape my wife and daughter, and because I tell them I have to water my peppers, and I stand over there and I turn the hose as low as it'll go, so I'll have maximum amount of time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you sprinkled a little bit of pee-pee in there.
No.
Like Ross used to do with the pineapple.
No,
It
well,
might
it
help.
works for pineapples. For peppers, I don't think it works.
No, you don't want the
Only
pea
one
in
way
it.
to find out.
Yeah, I don't want a pee-pee pepper. So I go and I put it like a drip, and then I go over to the hose, and they look at me through the window as I water it, and I'm like, I'm still doing it. Still doing it.
The pot is 6 inches wide.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
No, it's a tiny.
And it takes me forever to water them. But anyway, they're flourishing. So there's an update on our plants.
I become Crystal's like, you're hoarding plants. I propagated so many that I probably have.
I need some of your root booster. Can you bring me some of your root booster?
I got the root booster.
Yeah, because
What's a root booster?
You got to put the root booster in
Root
the water
booster, yeah.
with the ones
The
that you've
clippings
clipped. I'm not
propagate.
getting any.
Am I supposed to be clipping this tomato plant?
Yeah, you got to prune it.
I don't know what that means.
It'll get too tall. You got to look up up pruning tomato.
God, I got to do research.
It's
What kind
a-
of gift is this?
An old man will tell you how to do it on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Like
But the pepper lady on YouTube is hot. She's kind of sexy.
oh, I know the pepper lady.
Yeah, the pepper lady's
Oh,
hot.
he's been watching.
Yeah,
this.
well, we watch
Just
the same
some-
videos. We also watch the same porno. Now we watch the same peppers, so now we're becoming the same human.
There's a good looking hippie lady that's all into pepper plants.
Yeah, and she's
and
like,
there's-
well, the first time I did this,
Yeah.
you know, my peppers, they were getting a little too bushy, and I'm like,
When she-
she's got bushy peppers.
she'll lean over to
Oh,
prune
yeah.
and
And
like,
you
oh,
see-
big peppers.
Yeah. and you
Oh
see
my
the-
God,
and
you're
they're-
creepy old man.
What?
But they're long.
She knows what she's
and
doing.
she's a hippie. They're long. I've never worn a bra.
Yeah,
Long-
yeah.
They're long.
Yeah.
They look like
Two-
Oswald the Friendly Rabbit's ears.
What's her name? I got to look her up.
Just,
I don't know,
just
just
type in
pruning peppers.
pruning
Okay.
jalapeno peppers or pruning peppers. She'll pop right up.
Oh, yeah.
Very attractive. People have really,
Oh, found
really hot takes. She's hot. People have hot takes on what they think you remind them of, and a couple of these came through this morning, sir.
What's going on, guys? Sean from Castleberry. I last Sunday, sitting on the couch in the morning. Everyone just got up. My wife turns on the TV, and movie Rudy comes on, and I just kind of mentioned my wife because her and I movies experience are not nearly the same. She was more of a step it up drumline girl, and I was kind of a Pulp Fiction and Casino guy. So we've not seen a lot of the same movies together. And of course, I had never seen Rudy, and she's like, "Oh, I've seen this movie a bunch of times. I love this movie." I'm like, "All right, whatever." Fucking kicking around. And goddamn, Tom, man, you look just like the dude that plays Rudy on that movie. What's up with that?
Sean
I've listened to
Astin?
you guys for a while now. Never heard anybody give you shit about it. I think you should. Goddamn. Fucking.
Right, sir.
That guy's
God,
out of control.
sir.
Write down 3 for that one. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I've gotten Sean Astin before.
I
Usually,
don't see it.
But here's the one you haven't
he's
gotten, I
the
bet.
Bilbo Baggins, or not
I know
Bilbo.
who he is. I'm just saying I don't
Frodo's
think you
friend,
look like him.
Samwise Gamgee.
He's
I'll be your
also,
son.
isn't he also the new dad in some movie?
Also, it's the rudiness of him.
Is he
that-
is he a
rudiness.
is he in Stranger Things?
He was, yeah. Like season 2?
Yeah, he's like Winona Ryder's like boyfriend.
Yeah.
Well, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, I checked out of that hunk of crap.
He's kind of like
F
the,
you, Stranger Things. You suck. First season, great. Everything else, burn it down.
Yeah.
Hunk of crap.
Yeah, he's the nice, gullible
Yeah, he's
boyfriend,
like a fat
sweet.
guidance counselor.
Yeah.
What I look like. I'm like, it's a fat guidance counselor.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard this one, though? Have you heard this one?
Hi, Tom and Dan. This is Megan from Detroit. I was just watching Reno 911 for the first time with my husband the other day because sadly we have run out of things to watch on TV. And I was listening while I was doing something on the computer and I was like, oh my God, this voice I know. So I'm like, who is this voice? It's totally Tom's voice and it was Lieutenant Dangle, period.
No.
Do you guys know Reno 911 and who that is? And do you think they sound the same?
Lieutenant Dangle.
Rudy and Lieutenant Dangle.
Man.
That's how I'm saying.
Well, no. You look like Rudy. You sound like Lieutenant Dangle.
That's the worst combination you could ever have.
You're like Rudy Dangle. You're a little Rudy and a Dangle.
A little bit of Rudy, a lot of bit of Dangle.
He thinks that Lieutenant Dangle's voice sounds like you. Okay, I gotta find some Lieutenant Dangle.
Wasn't that the gay one?
How dare you? He never speaks about his sexuality.
Sorry, my brakes are getting squirrely on me. Oh, I've had
I'm
some
gonna
boots
close
on
my
layaway
eyes.
here at Zapateria La Bailarina. For Western fashions here in Reno, you really
It
can't
sounds
beat.
like-
It's a Daniel.
It
Daniel's,
sounds
Tom.
exactly like you. Oh my God! Give her a prize. I've never been more sure of something. That was you. That wasn't Lieutenant Dangle.
It sounds like Daniel's impression of Tom.
Yeah. That's where you get because
Which sounds exactly like Tom. Everyone knows that. Here, listen to it again.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, my brakes are getting squirrely on me.
That sounds like, sorry, my brakes were getting squirrely on it. It sounds just like you.
But no.
That's exactly what you sound
It
like.
sounds like your impersonation of
No.
it.
Right now you're doing that thing you do where you try to like
Dumb it down.
yeah, you're like, hello, I am talking. Come on, do it. Do it. Do the thing.
I have to. It's like I'm getting a loan. I'm like, I'll get it together.
Yeah, like when
Put
you do
your
your
court
business,
shirt on.
like when you were talking to the liquid glass guard guys.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
Oh,
like,
I thought you were going to talk about when he was talking to old man Jim. Oh.
Or like when you were
God damn it.
Or like
That
when
was
you
the best.
when you were talking to our fish tech yesterday, and you're like, "Thank you for making our fish so healthy, sir." And I'm like, knock that off. Talk like you really talk. Well, Bart's a good little score.
I can't. I have to. I can't show people how.
A lot of people don't know you.
bad it is.
Because
Yeah.
you guys know my wife knows. Like some people may have got a hint. They're like, oh, this is not good.
I don't think a lot of people
But
know.
everybody
how
else
you,
like that can't be that bad, but it's bad.
they don't
It
know
is
how
bad.
you naturally sleep. You're like. You do it all night long.
Yeah. I will tell you, Daniel has a unique ability to do an impersonation of someone's essence of who they
That
are.
sounds nothing like them.
But it may not emulate their exact voice.
It's like a caricature.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
audio.
I do the same thing that the guy does at Disney, where
Yes.
I draw you and your wife where
giant
you're
sword.
surfing and you're holding her
Yeah.
above you.
It's like I can
and
tell
there's
it's
a
them.
shark
Yeah, yeah.
about to bite my big nose.
Yeah. But that's better than the actual impersonation because
Yeah.
the actual impersonation isn't as
Oh,
funny.
you're being nice. Why are you being nice to me?
Oh no, I'm just saying because
What are you clowning me?
some people have the ability
He's
to
leaving the company.
take the essence of someone, the funny part of like how they should sound, and then make that the character that people like more than if you were just able to emulate my exact voice. It wouldn't be good.
Because your real voice is there's nothing. Your real voice is normal.
It's like it's not that normal.
It's
close. I mean, it's not the opposite of what you're doing. You know,
it's
on the spectrum.
It's rooted in that. Yeah.
It's
we got to get out of here.
It's the Asperger's of what you're doing. It's not full autistic.
By the way, I still think we need to change the name of that disease. That's just my take. You could think whatever you want to think. If you think that's an acceptable name, that's fine with me. I disagree. I just think you could have done better.
It can be something else.
It can be anything.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's still get it
because people they're not taking it seriously.
No.
Because
it's hard for me. I'm a child.
It's stupid. You know, it's like
if you're
we're all idiots.
Look, if you're my wife's, or excuse me, my daughter's new teacher, and your name is Betty Boogers.
Yeah.
I cannot take you seriously.
It's like, hold on, this is called ass burgers. That's not true.
I'm gonna cook that on my Blackstone.
that's not what it's called either. But that's what dodos like me laugh at because we're idiots.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
people are idiots. I'm an idiot. We laugh at it. Come on. All right.
I don't know what we said there. Okay, gotta get out of here, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Yep.
It's another corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Hey, Sam.
Hi.
What's new and exciting?
I got my hoodie on.
I noticed you had your hoodie on.
It's a cold.
I got my hoodie on. My slippers on. And what
is that?
Is a gnome.
Hey, Mr.
Oh, that's a
Leprechaun, you're
leprechaun.
redder than me, but you have a pot of gold, I see.
What was that damn thing I'm thinking of?
It's the leprechaun
The
song.
leprechaun rap.
Yeah.
Leprechaun baby.
Yeah, leprechaun baby.
I think that I have...
You're very jolly, I see. Or
Yeah.
something.
Well,
That was creepy. That was Mr. Pepper lips right there.
We both got it all wrong. I'm going to start playing that every March. I'm just going to have to dig it out, find it, and set it aside for everybody for St. Patrick's Day. If you don't... I know. I'm a leprechaun undercover. They call me the Green Rover.
Yeah, the Green Rover.
They call me the Green Rover.
What does that mean?
Well, because he needed something to rhyme with clover.
And he said rover. Like when we interviewed him, he says roving town to town. He was like, kind of like a
taking some liberties.
Nomadic leprechaun.
Yeah. Kind of a
neprolome. Or gnome.
Gnome.
A lepra gnome.
The guy's name that had the flute and the snakes.
Jethro Tull.
There it is.
Sitting on a park bench, eyeing little girls.
Our Father's Day stuff is still available.
Discontent
at tomanddan.com. If you know anybody that would enjoy some Realman merch, it's all Realman brand from the Danger Brain.
It's just damn fine dad quality products.
Yeah. Grilling apron, coasters, coffee mug, some.
Well, you're really selling the sizzle with the low, sad kind of droning, advertisement. I love it.
No.
Hey, on the line with us is your friend, and you had originally called this gentleman in to take the place of EJ. Right. Who would have ever guessed that instead of him taking the place of EJ, we just tacked him onto our team, made him part of the Tom and Dan gang. Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Great White North, it's our good friend, Canadian Josh, checking in with all things Canada.
What is that?
That's Bob and Doug.
Okay.
That's the McKenzie brothers.
Dan, I knew you would know that. I debated whether doing it. I'm like, this is such an obscure reference, but surely somebody remembers the McKenzie brothers.
Yeah.
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Yeah, they would start. They'd go.
And
what is this? A TV show or something?
It was
apparently
characters.
It's from a movie called Strange Brew.
You guys disappoint me so much.
I'm not an old man. Me and Samantha.
No, it doesn't matter.
Or was it a show?
It was SCTV. There were characters by none other than Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas.
Well, now I have to watch it.
And
'cause I love
I'm
Rick
just going to
Moranis.
tell you guys, disappoint me because we are a comedy show and you owe it to other people that have done comedy to at least do your research and know
Look,
little something about something.
I know a lot lot about comedy, but this was before my time.
Well, if you
this was 6 years before I was born.
If you know something about comedy, that look, I'm sick of you guys using that excuse. I know music from now to the 1800s because I like to be well-rounded.
Look,
get
I know
out of
it
your
too.
bubble.
I can't know every single goddamn Canadian
Well,
show there's
I'm not
ever been.
worried about you, Sam. You do a great job, but I'm worried about this gentleman that I sit across from.
I don't know.
We all know Tom hates comedy.
You're
all he
old.
watches is old man documentaries.
I don't know your old boomer movies. You and Canadian Josh, me and Samantha, millennials.
Yeah, that's right.
We know young stuff.
Oh, millennials.
Yeah, Tom's the millennial who just referred to himself. Before we started the show, he said, when other people think out of the box, I'm the boss. I'm not sure that's a good thing. But anyway, Josh, I'm glad to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah.
How you been?
Yeah, it's good to hear from you guys. Doing good, buddy. I'm back on the East Coast. I'm back in Nova Scotia, reunited with these people who I guess are my family. We're still getting acquainted, and I don't know. They haven't quite taken to me yet, but yes, I am back in Nova Scotia.
That's awesome.
Josh,
welcome home.
I hope that. How many kids do you have again?
Just the two boys that you guys met there.
He brought his kids in studio. You gave them straw hats like a weirdo.
Yeah,
well, how old
you
are
did.
they? Like,
it was weird. It was a weird flex to give the boys straw hats.
Live in Canada.
Yeah, here's a sun hat to protect you from. I don't know. Put some candy in it.
Every young boy likes a good quality straw hat. Right?
Yeah.
I guess.
They're gonna,
Spoken like a true boomer.
It's used to keep the sun off their back.
Who doesn't like a good farming hat?
Why they play with their stick and
Boys, no visit to a podcast studio would be complete without me giving you your souvenir pitchfork. What the hell's wrong with you?
When you're kicking the old can down the dusty road, you need a straw hat.
Why don't you guys follow old Uncle Tom into the bathroom over here? I'll give you a couple of on-the-house sucking candies. What the hell's wrong with you, man?
Anyway, Josh, did your boys run up to you like, Dad, you're on, and hug you, or were they play video games and you walked in?
And they're like, you're interrupting
Well,
Ryan.
yeah, it was kind of like B. Well, first off, I had to self-isolate when I got here. So when I saw them, it was like, oh, hey, it's that guy that we always saw on FaceTime. But, yeah, they're older. They're boys. They're very, not emotional. They're 12 and 14. So, yeah, none of the drama that I think you might get with a little girl like you have, Dan. But, yeah, they were happy. They were happy to see it.
Joke's on you. My girl is a stone cold killer.
That's right.
Who has
already?
She's 5. She's gonna turn 5 next week. I turn 44 next week. She turns 5 next week. She's 3 days after me. Here's a fun fact: she's never ever given me a hug. Ever in 5 years, not one hug.
Yeah.
Not one snuggie. Not one. She's a stone cold killer. She's literally a stone cold killer.
She's already started the paperwork to. What is it?
That's called the Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
That's the Great Emancipation.
Emancipate from our family. She's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna hire her as a salesperson.
Butler. She's coming for you.
Butler's boss.
Oh my God, are you crazy?
She's already
Tom's been training her for weeks.
My
Butler doesn't know.
I'm not joking. She may be more organized than Butler, and this comes from the most
100%.
unorganized person in the world. But I can tell. I know. I see Butler and I look at his eyes. I'm like, you're like me.
Here's another fun
He's the
fact.
box as
Did
well.
you know that Butler has been working for us for next to 2, almost 3 years, and he's given me a hug every day?
What?
All right. So sorry, Josh. We
Yes,
digress.
sir.
What do we
Let's
got?
get to it.
Yeah. What do we got here?
All right. First thing I want to give a shout out to EJ, who's been plugging away week after week. I listened to the show a couple days ago, and it's true. He just shows up every day, punches in, takes the abuse, and I will admit that I am one of his abusers. But you know what? He keeps going. He's consistent. I just want to say, EJ, I love you, and thanks for plugging away with that nerd jock segment.
I like that.
I like the compliment was like, he shows up, he's there.
He takes a beating. It's not very good, but he shows up.
Keeps taking his beatings.
This is a new segment I like to call Encouraging the Untalented.
He's there. He's a person. He
breathing in the air, and he's pooping out the poop.
He answers a Skype call. He talks. You make fun of him. He then.
Let's give it up for the guy that who wastes 1/4 of your computer screen.
He just described someone like he's able to Skype us, and that's it after that. Talk?
Let's all congratulate EJ, and his biggest accomplishment is that he is out there breathing in air,
He's alive.
able to get COVID.
Yeah, there's that.
Hero.
So what's happening in old Canada?
What's
the news?
Well, I got we'll do the usual, guys. If you seem to like that, the Choose Your Own Canadian Adventure. So
Yes.
the 2 topics I picked for today are coming soon to Canada, a 4-day work week, and also, why can't we have Teslas?
All right.
Ooh, those are both really good.
Yeah.
I
Those
like
are
his
both,
presentation.
Yeah, they're both really
High
good.
energy.
So let's we're gonna talk about both of them today, Josh, because we've got some time.
But
So
let's go 4-day work week because this is
I
one
want that.
this is one that I saw. It's funny. We live in a time now where people want to just debate things just for the sake of just yelling at each other. It's what a time to be alive. So what's going on with is that a real thing, Josh?
Yeah, it's being kicked around now by the big financial think tanks in Canada, just because some initial studies of some pretty predominant corporations have done pilot projects where they've gone to a 4-day work week, and productivity's up. The crux is always, though, employers don't want to keep paying the same amount of money for people who aren't there as much, but it's like, if the work's getting done, and in the case of one of these companies, work was actually done more efficiently on a 4-day work week. It's like, well, hell, why don't we try this? So all these big financial think tanks started running the numbers, and they think by the year 2030, we will be in Canada to a 4-day work week. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. It's going to be a slow change, but it makes sense. I don't know virtually anybody that wouldn't want, if they had the option of like, hey, it's 8 hours 5 days a week or 10 hours 4 days a week. I think the people would take the 10 hours 4 days a week and be like, I get an extra long weekend every single time. Like, why? What would be?
Yeah, like, I mean, have you guys ever considered it? Like, even with your business model, like,
We already do
guys
it.
could have.
I mean,
You got-
let's be honest.
We work from 10 to 2.
Yeah.
We're out of here before.
And a lot of that's Facebook. a lot of it.
Yeah. We don't need any less work.
Like today, I'll tell you the highlight of my day today was Googling classic porn stars just to see if I could remember their names.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was like Christy Canyon. Is that her name? Christy Canyon. Christy Canyon? Christy Canyon. I think that's right.
Yeah. Just like any business, it was a lot of work at the beginning, and now we're coasting.
Oh, yeah, man.
I don't know why. We shouldn't be.
Am I the only one working then? What the hell's going on? You guys are just coasting?
That's what business owners do, is that you start coasting, and then someone's got to
drive the thing.
The propeller's got to be turned on sometimes.
See, you say, well, am I the only one working? And then I look around here, and I'm like, am I the only one coasting? Come on, guys.
Who's coasting?
What kind of business is this?
So,
Get to coasting.
Yeah. Someone's got to push the car forward a little bit.
And somebody's got to sit in the car.
It's me riding that damn bike all over again with you guys.
Yeah. Someone's got to steer, but I don't even know who that is.
Don't let Butler steer. We know how that ends up.
No, never steer. So
he's in the office with the door shut right now with my daughter, so he might be being fired. I'm
no.
not sure what's happening, but don't talk about it.
So, it seems like every study is suggesting that it's better for everybody involved, plus even the company, because they're saving the money of like not opening that extra day. Or, maybe I imagine maybe there'll be some hybrid in between the transition where you work for 4 days at the office, then maybe Fridays, like you work from home.
I just wish it was
work
even.
from home type of thing, yeah.
This makes no sense, but I'll just tell you the way my brain works, and I wish it wasn't 7 days. I wish that our week was 8 days.
Right.
So we can get 4 on, 4 off. It would make more sense in my brain. I like symmetry.
Yeah.
I like things I like even numbers. I like for it to be split correctly, and it would just psychologically, I feel like it would make more sense if I had 4 on, 4 off. That's why I've always kind of really liked when my firefighter buddies have told me, I got 2 on, 2 off, 2 on, 2 off, or 4 on, 4 off. Like, I'm like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, because you know what you need? It's the flaw of the weekend is, if you think about it, Saturday is your only totally mentally unstressed day.
Correct.
Because you don't
There's
have
no preparation needed.
There's no work the next day.
Right.
And so Sunday, even though it's considered a weekend, the problem is for most people, and I fell into this category when I had a corporate job, is like no matter what, you're constantly thinking of like I got to wake up in the morning and go to work. So the day is almost ruined.
Wait, you don't think that now?
No. Well,
not as much.
Well, because I'm not
you
miserable.
Are coasting.
No, but it's different. Like, did you have more anxiety going into your pain pill factory on a Monday morning than you do here?
I have the equal amount anxiety, but way more depressed at the other.
Okay, so I don't really get anxiety on the Sundays anymore because I like seeing you guys and I like working here. So
I don't know what it is. I can't get it out of my brain. I cannot sleep on Sunday nights.
Maybe after a little while it'll work its way out. It took me a while too. It was like, remember when I used to tell you I can't get out of this waking up for the morning show? Can't get out of this work. I'm out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm way out of it. And I can sleep till 11:30 if you want me to.
Let's do it.
Like I can totally do it.
Yeah. And also,
it took me a while. It took me a couple of years, but I got there.
I mean, companies that can adopt. You know what's weird is that I don't know if this, and Josh, you tell me if it's like this in Canada. But it used to be where companies would have like things, and like maybe they'd use it where they'd match your 401k, or they'd have a certain pension, or they'd offer thing or free health insurance or whatever. These incentives to attract employees.
They had premiums that they would give you for like opting into the company life, right?
And then you would choose the company you work for based on like who's got the best incentives that would draw me there. I don't feel like that happens anymore. It may do, and maybe not.
In certain areas, I feel like it does. In tech companies, I feel like that's bad.
Yeah.
Is it?
So if you think about, like, I got a friend who's carefully listen, whose significant other now works for Yahoo. Okay. And when shopping around where this particular person was going to work, it really was a matter of like office campus, daycare, gym, health benefits, company car. Like they're just piling on all this stuff because they just have so much money.
Yeah. And then you're going to choose to work for them.
But if you're thinking like more traditional companies, I don't think that they're as lucrative as like maybe your tech companies.
And maybe because I'm thinking of like back in the day.
You're thinking like coal miners,
the recession, or just like any company, like you'd work for them because they have good benefits and like.
Well, like Juan in our Twitch chat room, he's saying. Like back in the day, his grandfather got a pension, still does get a pension from GM.
Yeah. Everybody changes career so much. I don't think they
My dad was a lifer.
Yeah.
And he had profit sharing. You know, he had investments. So when he did exit, even he got a raw deal. But even though they pushed him out, he had acquired so much stock within the company that he actually ended up doing great.
Also, maybe nowadays, because of how people's mentality is that if you offered like some like great pension at the end of your career, maybe that'll scare people away or not even be a benefit, because when people start a job, they're thinking I'm not gonna be here.
Well, they don't
forever.
have to offer that stuff anymore. People are desperate for jobs.
Yeah, especially now.
So they'll take it without all these extra perks.
What are your thoughts on it? Do you like it, Josh?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Like I've always been a paramedic, so I've done the split shift, right? But just for like, I look at my wife works in an office. It seems to make more sense. To really make this come together, though, this big think tank who's put this study together, saying there's going to be a lot of moving parts, and so basically it's like everybody can agree we have to make the same amount of money, if not more, adjusted for inflation. So all the employees agree with that, and employers agree with the fact that we are not going to be paying you the same amount of money if you're not working as much. So the key is the employers have to buy into it, and the workers have to increase productivity by 2% over the next 10 years. So basically get off Facebook a little bit more, people. Shut down Instagram. Get your GD work done, and we can make this happen. It's really not going to be that big of a deal, but people are people. So, I mean, I don't know how it'll play out. I can agree with the employers. You know, you guys are company owners. You're not going to want to pay more or the same for people producing less. So everybody just has to basically, pull up their.
I was willing to. I was willing until you showed me the error of my ways.
Yeah. Here at TND Media, we offer incentives to how much time you could waste.
Yeah.
And how much.
Butler, how much candy did you eat today? Only 3 packages of Nerds?
Deduction. So
how is Butler skinny anyway? I don't get that.
Right?
Nobody understands it.
Yeah.
I'm not even virtually certain he's a real person.
Does he puke a lot? Do you guys hear him in the bathroom puking much?
No.
What's going on there?
No, and he today ate like it was like a
but
an egg white, and his wife had rolled lunch meat and leafy greens in it.
He'd be even skinnier if he didn't eat the
candy.
The candy.
Snick snacks.
And the chips.
Right.
And I think it's
a lot of snick snackies.
And the cookies.
It's getting to him that every once in a while I'll weigh myself. I'll send him a picture.
You're bullying him.
Yeah, I'm bullying him. Look,
another couple pounds down.
It's bothering him because Butler.
Yeah, he made a comment the other day. He's like, "I'm coming for Tom's Fitness," and I'm like, "Well, not with that Snickers in your pocket."
When he started this company, I was Big Fat Tom, and he was like, "I'm the."
That's when you wore those big cowboy hats.
yeah. And then
that was your cowboy hat phase.
Through a bunch of poison and amphetamines, I'm able to get to a certain level.
Give me some of your poison.
I'll give you all.
I wonder how bad my anxiety would be on Adderall.
Oh no,
I love it.
I was thinking of trying it myself. I work with a Russian doctor who would write me a prescription, no questions asked.
Send me some,
Josh.
In Canada, you can get anything you want
right?
anyway.
Yeah,
right? I used to order a girl I date's her crazy pills from a Canadian pharmacy.
Yeah. My pop-up told me in Canada you can get any drug at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, no rules.
Except for alcohol. You can't buy alcohol. But by God, you can get Adderall.
So let's, I guess the next topic was...
No Teslas in Canada?
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, yeah, Dan, you had mentioned something about Teslas a few shows ago. They all blend together now, but it's not uncommon for you guys to see a Tesla driving around the streets of Orlando. Yeah?
Oh, no, we have a lot of Teslas, especially in this neighborhood. They kind of caught on because the people around here have a tendency to have more money than they know what to do with, so they buy a lot of Teslas, and they beat them up, too. They wreck the rims and scrape the sides of them, and it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, when you brought that up, it made me think, you know what, I think maybe once or twice I've seen an electric vehicle, like a Tesla, in Canada. I personally couldn't imagine owning one just from a practicality standpoint. So, I mean, there's 4 hurdles to overcome, and this is what we're dealing with now. It's the cost of the vehicles, right?
Sure.
So you can get the hybrids, or you can go all the way full-on Tesla. And then it's the range. That plays into it, too. How far can I drive with this vehicle? Where can I recharge? You don't see a lot of recharging stations here. Now, that said, the biggest gas station in the area is called Irving. All the Irvings have started retrofitting their gas stations with Tesla charging ports, so I guess that's a good sign. And then the other one is obviously how long does it take to recharge? I mean, it can take a half hour for the good ones, and then I think the Kias and stuff can take like up to 14 hours, and then they have limited range. So we're not quite there yet. And I'm a truck person too, so I know Tesla has this crazy bulletproof looking truck that looks like it belongs on Mars or something.
Yeah.
They now you're right. I think it depends on what you use your vehicle for, because if you're a daily driver,
my dad would have never been able to use it.
Yeah.
He was driving
too much driving,
thousands of miles a day. So,
but if you have a set routine and you realize, like, all right, I'm only driving 15 miles a day, I can recharge every, I'm not doing long distance. It makes total sense. Plus, I like the hybrids, especially how cheap gas is right now. Like that Mitsubishi PHEV.
It's a great looking car.
It can run totally off electric, but when the battery dies, it runs off the gas motor.
And I said daily, I meant weekly. But yeah, I mean, it was my dad was putting 200, 300 miles on a car a day. So if you're doing that.
Is it because, is Canada, now obviously you guys are big cities, but is it because your communities are more spread out? Like in a typical Canada suburb, do you guys have what, like half-acre lots, quarter-acre lots? Is like how is it divided?
Yeah, like at least basically in your basic subdivision, at least a half an acre. So like everybody's got a big plot of land.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with that, like just back to the Teslas real quick, or electric vehicles. The other thing is cold weather probably affects the batteries too. I'm sure that would probably play into it. And then so if you get the cold weather coupled with not knowing when you can get your next recharge. Price is coming down. I don't know. Personally, I don't think it's going to be anything you see mainstream anytime soon here. And that makes us all a little sad because we would like to have a Tesla. But at the same time, practicality,
Well, every single automotive brand is making an electric car, so people will have.
They're working on it. I mean, pretty soon it'll be more common than not, but it'll just take a little while to get there.
I mean, just how fast? I don't know if you go on YouTube or anything and just type in Tesla or electric car versus all these supercars and stuff, like you just see the motors are so much faster, and their ability to produce torque and have continuous power.
That's ridiculous.
It's just they are more efficient and better than combustion engines, and as the technology gets better
problems.
and better,
there's a few things that don't work quite as well, and that's just they'll work on those.
Yeah, and so
fuel cells have been the problem all along, right? I mean, having enough of that stored up electric energy to get you, to something that would even be comparable to a car, but with the convenience of instant charging, and they'll figure it out.
In fact, of course, fast charging. There will be a time where electric cars, they have a range of 500 miles and they can charge in an hour, and then or more than that, or it's like,
and I'm sure,
and then it will become. Like, why would you buy a combustion engine car?
It'd be cool if you could do a battery swap.
Yeah.
Right? It'd be cool if you had a Tesla and when you're ready to fuel up, you pull in, you pop your battery out, another guy pops a battery in, and off you go. And you opt in and pay a premium like you would if you were paying something at the pump. Then these batteries are recharged, put back out there, and then recycled. But who knows?
Business idea, Dan. Mail that to yourself, buddy.
It's no different than what Ryobi does, right? I mean, like, when you think about it, you're gonna have to figure. You're gonna have to think something. You have to figure something out.
It's just there's like a battery cell.
Oh, it's the whole. It's huge.
There's 10 batteries connected together or whatever it is. I mean, but eventually it'll get smaller and smaller,
Everything
more efficient.
Does.
When you first said this story, Josh, I thought that there was some sort of like tariff or some sort of reason that Canada didn't have electric vehicles.
I was gonna guess terrain too, because even though I know
there's some roads around here, man, I would not want to be in anything but a truck.
Now they have a ton of torque. I wouldn't say that it couldn't do it, but just suspension-wise, tire-wise, I mean, you'd probably want something as beefy as that weird-looking, like he said, like robo-looking Tesla truck.
Bulletproof looking truck.
That thing's crazy.
The Canadian government is offering rebates now, depending on the type of vehicle you buy. It's anywhere between what province you're in, between $5,000 and $8,000 in rebates. So a little bit of incentive there.
Well, in the future, I imagine, and I've heard some people talk about this, where once automation and automated cars become more and more prevalent, which it will happen. And they were talking about, especially like in cities, people won't own cars anymore. You'll just have these automated cars will be driving around, and through your app, one will come pick you up, drop you off, like Uber, but everything will be automated, and they'll run all the time.
So it's almost like an unlinked subway system.
They'll stop to charge themselves, but you won't need as many parking spaces. They'll all be electric. They'll just be running around the city. And then in the suburbs and stuff, there may be like automated cars that you just take to work, and you just always have the automated cars driving around everywhere. So it's like you get the app or whatever, it comes, picks you up. If it's cheap enough, you'll be like, why am I paying for a car and insurance? And it just doesn't it won't make any sense anymore to own a car unless you're like a traditionalist.
I wonder if you'll be able to know if you're a holdout, and you're still driving yourself. I'd like to think that because these autonomous vehicles are going to have to keep a baseline high level of safety, and the way that they drive will be very conservative. I can't see you ever being able to select a car that drives aggressively. Like even the idea of getting into a taxi when I did in Acapulco with my dad and having my dad tell the guy, step on it, we're late. You're not going to be able to do that.
No.
So
it'll follow laws and stuff. But
so I'm thinking that for those of us that hold out, though, if it's us, because Juan in our Twitch chat room said by 2031 the majority of highway traffic will be automated. If that's the case, then I'm going to hold out. That way I can get everywhere I want to go really fast by just less cops on the road, right? And I'm just going to jockey through all these dumb robot cars to get where I'm going. It's going to be fun as hell.
You'll probably be blocked by the automated cars.
They won't block me. You know how many guns I'll have by this time? My God.
it'll definitely be interesting. But we do. As a society, in every society, there are too many cars. Like it's like we all have our personal car, which is probably
not needed.
in the future will be looked back upon.
I'm
and
trying
be like,
to get rid of
"Whoa,
my car.
This is absurd.
I'm trying to get rid of my car right now. I told my wife I can just go with the scooter, and she will not let me do it.
Why does everybody have cars? Like especially
And then crazy cars as status symbols and stuff like that. Like, what would Seth Petrozelli do if he can't ride around town in his tampon car anymore? Like, he wouldn't be able to represent, you know?
Well, the thing
true.
is, yeah, those
Very true.
the people that actually enjoy owning a type of
How
vehicle.
would he lose all those gym memberships by driving a douchey car like that?
You could still have your douche cars, and you can still have all
because there's lack of practicality there. That's just for fun.
Yeah, and the people that still love driving and still like cars, they'll have that. But I would guess the vast majority of society just has a car for utility.
Yeah.
It's not like they have the car they have is like their dream car that they.
Most people just get a car to get to point A, point B. Yeah.
And those are the people, the majority, which will have the automated cars.
Yeah.
Which, if they're all sharing cars, we'll get a lot of cars off the street. Therefore,
Save them a ton of money too.
Less of our tax dollars going into these gigantic I-4. I don't know. You've been on I-4, Josh. It's a mess.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's a nightmare.
And the problem is, like, even the engineers are like, when we finish building it, if it keeps going like it is with the population rising and the cars and stuff, like, we'll have to redo this again once we stop. It'll be a never-ending continuous loop.
It's never going to end, yeah.
So hopefully by that time, maybe one day we'll start deconstructing giant highways because they'll be considered overkill and useless. Like we'll have these 5-lane mega highways, and there'll just be a bunch of automated cars, and then you're
just automatic vehicles, yeah.
And then every once in a while you have your douchey Seth and your Daniel. Because
you have the douche lane
because they're old men and they won't give up their cars.
No, I'm just trying. I'll be driving through there with my Mad Max gunmobile, shooting all the autonomous cars.
Yeah, and so then they'll start making highways smaller.
What about motorcycles? There'll be holdouts.
I wonder if they.
Harley guys.
You know, Harley guys aren't going to want to
Harley guys are not going to get rid of their Harleys.
No.
You know what I bet they'll do? Yeah, of course. No, but there'll still be the people that can have all that. It'd actually be better for them because there'll be less cars.
Yeah, be safer.
So everybody.
It's safer for them. Yeah,
sure. Absolutely. And then you'll get the occasional old man that has a classic car.
Yeah. You know. You'll have those on the road, but everybody else will be automated. I bet you then, instead of deconstructing the highways, I bet you then they'll make like lanes that are only for the automated trucking system that they'll build. So it's like one lane is just for automated electric semis to go continuously to drop off stuff and shipments and stuff. And the future of the highway will be like one lane automated trucks, then there'll be the automated car lane, and then all the people that want to drive their motorcycles and cars, there'll be like people driving lanes, something like that, right?
I don't know.
And then charge up the yin-yang for gas, right? So, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. I think that was great. That was an excellent Canadian Choose Your Own Adventure.
Josh, what's the weather like right now? Because right now...
Beautiful. This weather right now, buddy, is why we live in Canada. This is when we can make fun of you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are down there sweating your asses off, and it is like 74 degrees here today with no humidity and sunshine. So we get to make fun of you guys now. Take that, Florida.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
You got your sweet spot in the dead of summer for us, and I do agree. It's like, that is a sweet spot, but then just wait for that cold. Winter's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming for you.
And that's I'll make fun of you, Josh, when we're in January.
Yeah, well, it's really mismatched. Like, you Floridians, like, I got Florida friends, you guys it's really unbalanced. Like, we get a lot more flack. Like, oh, you guys are shoveling snow. Oh, it's February, we're on the beach. Like, I don't know. I just find my Florida friends really come at us Canadians hard, more so in the wintertime. We're just kind of like, I guess maybe we should ramp it up and start the campaign to, hey, take that, Florida. We're not sweating right now.
Yes,
you don't really need to. Everyone says take that, Florida, because everyone hates Florida.
We're not really well liked. Yeah, that's true.
Although you're right.
Well, you're not liked and you're loved, too. It's a combination.
Well, we're loved by, murderers. We're loved by pedophiles. We're loved by, organized crime likes to move here and start things.
We're the Australia of America.
We really are. A lot of convicts.
If they should dig a trench right across Gainesville.
People trying to avoid state taxes.
They could the upper half of the United States could keep the panhandle. Never liked the panhandle. Stupid.
I don't know.
Panhandle. You go pan?
Not my handle.
Stupid panhandle. Panama City.
Never
Hold
been
on.
there.
Leave Panama out. Panama City's great.
Why is it called Panama City?
I don't know. But Club La Vila's there, and the Party Shark was there, and I met him for the first time.
Like, what? I wonder where they came up with Panama City. Like the Panama Canal. What is it?
Probably something to do with Panama, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Anyway, Josh, we appreciate it, dude. Go ahead and throw out your plug.
Yeah, okay. Any voiceover work you need done, you can go to jcvoiceover.com, or better yet, you can even go to tomanddan.com and click on the hookups page. You'll see my little thumbnail there on the hookups page, and get good prices for you Tom and Dan and BDM listeners.
Awesome.
Did you give him that for free?
I know. I was about to say, are you paying for that, or did I give it to you for free?
No, you gave that to me. Remember when I was down there, you gave me like 2 years free on the hookups page.
Oh,
Great
He
job. You
doesn't
don't
remember
remember that.
anything.
You don't remember that. This is coming from the
Yeah,
same
I
guy
know.
that's given his BDM password to every BDM we have.
Well, he's the boss.
That does sound like me. I always do 2 years free.
Damn it.
But, most of my clients,
Yeah,
I'm like, what? 2 years free?
That's why Butler's been here.
Oh, okay.
2 years free.
Yeah. That's all right. Give everybody complimentary 2 year free.
Of anything. Of anything. Nothing off limit.
Yeah.
You want to sleep with my wife? 2 years free. You want to burn my house down? You can 2 years free.
Long. All right, Josh. We'll talk to you again.
All right. Thomas fan, I love you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm trying to be.
Thomas Van, I love you. You're like, 2 years free. Well, we got to take a break now.
I like how Josh thinks that after 2 years, I'll be like, oh, the time's up. I'll never remember.
No, he doesn't even look at the hookups page.
Every time Josh calls in, I'm like, oh, who? I have no idea what's happening.
And then he always wants to talk hockey.
I look on the calendar. I'm like, Canadian Josh. We've talked to a guy named Josh from Canada before.
What a coinkydink.
I'm like, that's weird. A lot of Joshes in Canada.
Yeah, I think this guy deserves a 2 year free deal. Oh, you already have it? A year ago?
2 year free. 2 year free. 2 year frees.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more Corporate Time. Welcome back to a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Sam, you said Mike B's on line
Line 1. You know what?
Mike B from Ono Radio Show. Welcome to a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. What's on your mind, man?
Hey guys, how you doing? I just wanted to give a small comment on automated driving.
All right.
Oh, please. You have the floor.
Yep.
Well, I being Mike B and a prolific a partyman and enjoyer of good times, as they would like to say.
That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah.
Enjoyer of good times.
I honestly cannot wait for automated cars because, like, you know, it would be nice if when I had to go to a BDM event, if I didn't have to worry about, like, getting to the event without, you know, having to pay for an Uber, where I could still have a couple of drinks, like, in my car and just leave my beers in the car.
You know what? You're right. It's the automated car's fault.
Also, Mike, I assume these services won't be free. Like, you'll still have to pay.
I
for
also
them.
like that he said getting to the event is the hard part because he's already drunk.
Yeah,
Yeah. I imagine that it's going to be...
have you ever tried to order an Uber, like, shit-faced?
We are doing ACT, Mike B. This is a corporate time. Please don't say that.
I'm virtually certain that literally half of Ubers are ordered S-faced. But yes, I was...
You know, Tom, you do it.
I was at a beach party one time, a BDM beach party, and I attempted to try to order an Uber.
I had to order it for you,
Yeah.
to which you just closed it out.
One time at one BDM party.
And then had Tommy Gilligan drive you to your Pop's house.
Yeah. I came to about halfway there where I was
What are
like,
you guys talking about?
Who are you? Where I realized...
You awoke in the middle of a transport, Tom.
Yeah. I kind of like, I had too many shots. Went through a mild brownout, and then came to in Gilligan's car and or his truck.
Tom, actually, that's what I told the cops. I'm like, I had a couple of shots and had a mild brownout. And that's why I'm here sleeping at a stop sign.
Yeah.
Mike B, we love you.
So, Mike, is your day off, I assume?
Yeah, it's my day off. They canceled my manager's meeting, so I'm just, getting a little twisted in the middle of the day.
Are you supposed to record tonight with Oh No Radio Show?
Well, yeah, but I'll obviously take a nap in between that.
Like last week when you slept through the show?
Oh, man.
Do you fall asleep?
I'm going to get you because you made more work for me.
Yeah, he falls asleep during the show. And then they all get quiet, and then they screw with him on the show. It's pretty funny.
Oh,
I like that.
So what? So if I fall asleep before the show, it's a problem. If I fall asleep during the show, it's a problem.
You might be narcoleptic.
Well, I mean, I like how everybody's throwing every other reason except for one.
Alcoholism.
Like you're like, you might be narcoleptic. I can't wait for automated cars. Like the problem is, I mean, we know
there's one problem.
We know what the problem is. It's just
how
we don't.
Dare you blame alcohol?
I'm just saying.
For all of us,
if we could just get automated cars and my narcolepsy to calm down.
Did you say after all I've done for all of us? What have you done for us?
No, how dare you blame alcohol, Dan? After all it's done for every single one of us, how dare you?
It's ruined our lives.
It's not made my life better.
Everything about it is
bad.
Been a.
I mean. In fact, I think Tom said one time on the show. Now I don't agree with this. I think this is like your phrase, but you said something to the effect of, "Dan would be on Saturday Night Live right now if he wasn't an alcoholic." I'm like, he's right. Oh my God, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'd be a fucking CEO of a restaurant right now.
I'm hanging up on you.
But here we are.
Hang up on him.
I'm
done with him.
You'd be Mr. Flat's partner.
This is why I didn't pick up your phone call the first time, Mike, if you're wondering.
Kerr's crazy, can't stop him.
Leave him alone. Can't stop himself.
Sam's on that.
Leave him alone.
She sells me that. Okay.
Mike, don't let him bully you.
Let's do a couple of voicemails.
You be you.
He's trying.
Live your best life.
Yeah.
He's going to do whatever he wants.
Oh, I'm tuning in for Oh No Radio Show tonight.
Me too.
Let's see what happens. Light the fuse.
Twitch. It's funny.
TV/ONRS Live.
There you go.
Things are always funny until
it's
dramatically not funny. For instance, like, look how drunk this guy is. I poke him, and then you do that, and you're like, oh,
it got sad.
He's dying of organ failure. Like, hey, that's what happens. It's true. You're like, look how drunk he is, and then you're like, oh, Rose is dead.
Well, no, you're sitting there.
That's what happens.
You're sitting there eating at Tijuana Flats. And then he comes out, and he's like, guys, just got to get some bad news. It's going to be the last time you see me. And we're like, oh, man, when you get a new job? No, I'm dying.
You know that,
here's
that alcohol I drank all the time that it was so funny how I fall asleep standing up.
Yeah.
That turns out that killed me.
Oddly enough, when the doctor said I was dying, I said, well, smack my ass and call me Sally. I didn't know that. Here's some chips and dip on the house.
It turns out you just you can't drink that much every day. It's just come back to get you.
Being full transparent right now, it is only 1:45 p.m.
I know, that's the thing. It's like
on a Thursday, although we're releasing this on a Monday.
But it is like this guy likes.
And he's already hammered.
It's funny.
You can hear him trying to get it together when he called and he goes,
"Yeah, he
did. He did what you do." He's like, "Hey guys, it's Mike B from Oh No Radio Show."
And then curse crazy.
It's funny too because. This guy likes to party, was good in your 20s, maybe early 30s, but then after 35 to like 55, it's like, oh, this guy likes to party.
Yeah. Change the inflection.
Yeah. The party becomes sad.
But if you can't power through.
Like, are you partying? You're by yourself in your apartment and you're blacked out. Is that a party? Like,
Hell man.
If anybody showed up to your apartment right now, would they say, wow, a party's going on?
Well,
Or they'd be
right.
like, whoa.
That's
Or
why,
they would be like, oh.
that's why you gotta you gotta go through the motions. That's why you gotta put the party hat on.
Oh, okay.
You know, put the cake out. You gotta do that. It comes back around though. If you can power through until like 55 to 60, then you're back into party mode. Just a lot of people don't make it through the transition.
I think you have to actually be involved in a party, right? You can't
Party for one,
you're
baby.
like, hey, I'm partying. You're like, no, you're just you're getting drunk alone, and your only friend is your cat. And then, not that that's might be.
No, his only friend is his mustache, which looks like a cat.
Yeah. Like,
hold on, I'll be right back. Got to feed my mustache some Frisky Feast. Put a party hat on your mustache. Put a party hat on you. Sit in your lazy boy, pass out. All right, we got to take a break.
Okay.
We'll take one. We'll come back. You're listening to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan.
welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
Let's do some voicemails and emails. If you want to leave us an email, show@tomanddan.com.
Yeah.
Voicemail, you could go through our regular phone number if you want. Or
Yeah, I always forget you can do that. 1-844-TOMNDAN. Tom and Dan. TOM, the letter N, DAN.
Yep.
1-844. And leave a message. I'll download it and we'll play it on the show.
Or a mediocre message through our app, which is completely free. If you search in your app store, Tom and Dan on your phone, you'll get that. And through our app, you'll get all of our content, including BDM shows. If you're a BDM, you just have to sign in through your app.
Yes, sir. I'm going through our voicemails here. Let's try... Let's go with this one right here. Please hold. All right.
Listening to the Thursday show about you guys talking about Animal Crossings, and you're talking about how, games and playing games with your significant other, and how she likes Animal Crossing is because that's the type of game she likes to play, not the Call of Duty or Madden, etc. Got a great one for you guys. It's one of those you sort of kind of like the Choose Your Adventure books. We played through it twice.
This guy is not Manny Wetmouth, but he also has a wet mouth. And I think Tom has figured out Manny's problem, this gentleman's problem, even though he's calling about a video game. Sorry, sir, we tangent here. I'm going to use your voicemail, but I'm going to use it in a different way. You've had this problem this week.
Yeah.
I think it's an excess of caffeine consumption.
Yeah.
And I think it's been giving all of us, myself included, gives us all that weird, sticky, dry mouth, which then in your
culminates in a back. I'm doing it now. I think it's because I had too much caffeine, talked too much, and now I have this weird voice that's probably excruciating to listen to because you're like, clear your throat.
Yeah, it's just like gurgly or what. But here, I'll let him finish.
A gal and I. It's called Until Dawn. It's got a great storyline. It's kind of a horror game. It's on the PlayStation, I know for sure. I don't know if it's on the Xbox. I don't know which system you have. But Until Dawn. And basically you play through, you get to certain areas, you choose what you want to do, and you have the butterfly effect that actually affects throughout the whole game. So what you choose to do in the beginning of the game can affect what happens at the end of the game. And it doesn't involve, having...
He just described
That's cool.
every game. What happens at the beginning of the game affects what happens at the end of the game.
Well,
yes. The only
see
thing
what
that
you're saying.
doesn't work that way are books.
I see what he's saying, though,
Except
because
Choose Your Own Adventure.
he's whatever way or whatever decisions you make will end you in a different place. So you can go back and play the same game and choose different decisions, and it'll be a different outcome.
You know what I loved? And there was a sweet spot with technology where these type of games came out, and it was done by, I'm trying to remember the name of the company that did it, but the name of the game was California Games, and it was a board game, and you'd roll dice and everything, but in order to figure out the outcome of what happened in the game, you would have a VCR tape that would be in your VCR. And then you'd press
Yes, I
play.
remember this. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you'd press play, and it would show these bars, and it would say, you're about to start the game. Pause the game in 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, press pause. You'd press pause, and then it would just freeze on that, like, staticky screen. and it'd be just like the logo for California Games. You'd roll the dice.
I had this.
I had it too. It's why we're in business together. And you'd move. We should make this again for other people on a CD as a Tom and Dan board game. It would sell. So you would take your character, right? You'd roll the dice. You get a 5. You'd go 5 spaces, and you'd land on surfing competition. Enter to win. $300, and then you'd have to press play because you're in the surfing competition, and then it would be either a roller skating, skateboard, surfing, windsurfing, hacky sack. It'd be some sort of like quote X Games style, like alternative sport. And then whatever the person did on the small clip is what would happen. So some of the surfers would wipe out. Some of the surfers would do amazing tricks. Some of the skateboarders would fall and bust their ass. Some of them would do an amazing, like a McTwist and land it. But it was all like random, and based on you rolling and pressing play, that's what would happen.
Yeah. The only problem being is that there's a finite amount of things.
So you'd have to rewind and start it over again.
But
I don't know if I'm following.
Once you saw what happened,
let me see if I can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, you'd be disinterested. For instance, it was like the beginning of multimedia or like interacting with some technology or whatever. So instead of it was just a VHS tape that they were like, wow, if we had like real footage of a surfer falling down or a surfer doing a cool trick or whatever, they would just put a bunch of those clips, and then it correlated with the board game.
How does it correlate with the board game? That's what I don't understand.
I found it.
It would be like you had to is this an explanation or whatever?
This is the actual video that you would have been using. It was by the company Epix, EPYX, Epix. And so here's what you would do. I'm gonna put this up so everybody else can see it real fast. Just give me a second to get this logo on here. Sorry. Okay.
Did you ever play California Games?
No, I've never even heard of this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
that's why I don't understand it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's extremely hard to.
The video game was basically you got to choose which game you wanted to play. So like roller skating. Hacky sack.
So each VHS was a different quote-unquote game.
I'm not sure. We're
Okay.
probably explaining the VHS. The game was. This is a board game. This is the board game version of the popular video game California Games.
Okay, here's what you would see, okay? It would start out like you'd press play on your deal here.
Tommy G in the chat says it's like choose your own adventure, but instead of flipping to a page, you go to a timestamp. That makes a little more sense to me.
Right. Okay, so see, this would be like the one that you picked. I press play. Oh, is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? Is he going to land it? Oh, is he going to... you won. You won $30. So that was your roll. So now it's Tom's turn. He rolls. He gets a 5. Surfing competition. Does Tom win? I'd hit play.
Do you have money?
See,
like Monopoly?
It says pause tape now.
Gotcha.
So then it'd be Tom's turn. This is a surfer. He's going through the tunnel, Is he going to make it? I don't know if this guy's going to make it. Looks like he is.
Oh, do I? Cut back. Here we go.
He's going to wipe out.
No, I don't think he is.
No,
he won. $40.
He won.
This is dumb.
but at the time, I mean, now you look at it. Now it's a piece of dated technology. But at the time, as a kid, as a young surfer,
early 90s,
draw an action card.
Yeah, in a suburb of DeLand, close to Daytona Beach, New Smyrna. I thought this was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
We have to come out with a shirt. It's a perfect time right now of just a wind surfboard. A wind surfboard is there may be not a better image that correlates with the 90s than a wind surfboard.
It's pretty cool.
I know they still have them now and people still do it, but that was the quintessential 90s extreme sport.
I have a feeling that there are less people windsurfing right now than ever before.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I don't think it
was the height of popularity in the 90s.
1991.
I see more like are they called wind kayaks? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
people with kayaks with
wind
little sails.
kayak. Isn't that?
I've seen that.
Or kiteboarding.
Yeah.
Wind kayak. I liked it the first time when it was called tiny sailboat.
Or and what's great about the wind surfboard is there was only one trick you could do, which was the jump real high, the nose pointed in the air, and then down. And then it's like, here it goes again. Like, hi.
No, there's one other move.
You can do a crazy.
There's one other move you can do.
Okay.
You're forgetting the one other, and it's the one you had to do. It's the I'm going. Hold on, I'm changing direction. I stand up. I walk, turn my sail. Whoa, sail went up, going the other direction.
Oh yeah,
that was the other move.
Or there's the when you make the jump off the wave, you do the little
kick.
The kick that like, it almost
you flatten your sail out. You're like,
oh yeah. It has to correlate with the sound effect where it's like a guitar.
Oh yeah.
Bow. And everybody on it looked like Zach Morris.
Yeah, well, they had the blades on, the zinc on their nose.
Blonde hair surfer.
Surf jams. Spiky hair mullet.
Yeah. The old windsurfboard. And I remember as a kid.
California Games.
You should get blonde highlights, Tom. You'll look like Zach Morris.
Yeah. Do it.
Go full 90s, man.
Has anybody ever tried to ride a windsurf? It's hard as
F. It's hard as hell.
Yeah.
I can't. I tried. I couldn't get it to.
It's frustrating.
I tried on a cruise with like my parents. You know, where they have like I'm in like some resort. And I'm out there. There's no wind, and these and the guys, and the guys like you're doing fine. You're doing fine. And I'm like, there's no wind.
It's an oversized board, so you can just stand on it. And
it's like inflatable.
Yeah. You're holding the thing, and you're going 0.2 miles an hour. Like
no, I just stood there with it. I wasn't even going anywhere.
Yeah, it's like I want to be extreme.
Let's try this one right here. Oh, sorry. I forgot that these have to be opened with this button. Let's try this guy.
Yeah, Aaron from Altamont checking in again. Listening to Thursday's ACT. You guys are talking about baths and showers and all that nonsense. Baths are gross. I will agree with that. But I found a solution for the bath situation. If you want to have a really nice bath.
Oh, yeah, we've heard this one. I remember this guy. He goes on to basically say that you take a bath, and then in order to get the funk off of you, because he doesn't support
take the shower after.
To get back in and take another shower, and
There's too much water.
Yeah, you're wasting.
I do that. But I never take baths. But if I do, I definitely do a rinse off afterwards.
That's weird because a lot of girls take more baths than guys just as like almost like a relaxation technique. But I would imagine that it's hard for you to take a bath because you're tall.
Yeah, that's the situation.
Yeah, see, it's very easy for me to take a bath
one of those
because I'm
big
small.
spa bathtubs.
Oh, yeah. You could take a bath in a solo cup.
I can, and I do. Sorry, I do.
I recently used our new bathtub
one
time.
Oh, I know what you did. Water frogging. Did you have your wife water frog you?
No.
Water frogging is a dangerous man's game.
Yeah,
Plus, you can't. There's too many waves, so you can't see what's going on down there. So you don't know where it is. You don't know what's happening. Is it in there? What? I don't know what's happening.
Crystal was like, "Go take a bath. You haven't enjoyed our new because."
So you just sit in a hot bath staring at your wife's ass on the wall.
Well, the ass is kind of behind me in the way I was sitting, but
you just look up and there's cheeks looking down.
Hey, look, everybody! It's Castleberry Scarface. He's sitting in there, machine gun pile of cocaine. His wife's ass, a chandelier hanging over.
It's a rusty revolver.
Let me take a picture.
Not a pile of cocaine.
Crushed up Adderall.
Let me take a picture of you.
Oh, we need that. We need that design.
Half a blue Adderall.
Pabone, get on it. We need Tom Montana. He's in a jacuzzi tub with the soapy butt behind him.
It's like the tub.
Crushed up Adderall.
That's why I didn't like it, because I have a hot tub and that is like huge.
Yeah, it's big.
And then I get into this bathtub, which it's a bigger bathtub than normal, I guess, but it's like one of those standalone white tubs. That's whatever.
Yeah, they're bigger than normal for sure.
But to submerge myself, I have to lean down, and then my knees are above water.
See, I can go straight. I can go fully straight.
So then
the only thing that
then my genitals are floating, and I don't like it. That's
wow,
what happens. Your genitals float.
Hey, well done, sir. I mean, float. You got to have something to have it float. Right?
It's got bobbers.
Look, cruise ships float. You know?
No, I'm just saying.
Balls of paper do not.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I'm there, and then I'm like, I don't like it.
Yeah, I can't do it in a standard
I'm like,
bathtub.
I have the hot tub. It's better.
I like to lay in it. I can lay in my daughter's tub. I can lay fully and then get my head fully, everything, like no one would find me. I could put like a McDonald's straw out and hide from people in there.
A little reed.
Yeah.
They used to do that a lot more back in the day. I like that move.
But I don't want a little Reed. I don't want to take a bath with a little Reed. I want to take a bath with NFL great Andre Reed. He is a hunk.
A lot of people used to hide in like ponds and stuff.
That doesn't work. I've tried it as a kid. I tried
straw.
it.
Yeah, it's hard.
We all tried that as a kid.
You
right?
hold your nose and put the thing. It's hard as hell.
How are you keeping your head and body up from floating?
Well, you got to plug your nose because if you tip your head all the way up, your water will straighten your nose.
You'd have to hold the reed or whatever straw with your hand, and then hold the.
You need a flexible straw.
Yeah, the ground or the whatever on the bottom of the pond to hold yourself down because you're breathing whatever will float you to the top and then shoot you crazy.
Yeah.
Plus,
anybody with any body fat's gonna float to the top.
How long is the straw? Is it super long, or is your face just
right below the water?
Like I see your face, shoot your face.
I see your face in crystal clear water.
You're in a spring.
Yeah. So
shoot for the reed.
Is your eyes open?
Is your eyes open?
I'm saying, like, are you just like blacked out? You can't see nothing, breathing out of a straw. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
Like, while the dogs are looking for you.
I remember doing that as a kid with like like as a kid, like Maisie's in this phase right now where she's obsessed with. She's like, let's do an experiment. Let's put salt on this piece of paper. She's like, sit there and watches it, and I'm like, nothing's. You know what I mean? Like it's just like I don't know. It's like something. I'm sure Tommy's doing it. Max is probably everything's an experiment. Put the water on the leaf. Put the leaf in the tub. You know, like
me and Porno Joe when we were kids, we went to my Meemaw's house because she was the only person that had the pool. You know. So we went there, and then we came up with this plan. We're like,
let's kill her.
God
Almighty.
We're like,
jeez.
She had like this old white, everybody's got an old white bleached out pool bucket that's by their pool equipment or whatever.
That is true.
It stinks like chlorine because you put chlorine tablets and like pool anyway.
Hey, fling anything over there.
So we're like, I bet if we got a heavy enough brick or whatever and tied it to the bucket and
we could hold her on the bottom of the
sunk the bucket down. Oh, by the way, I'll say it tomorrow, but my Memo's 95th birthday is this weekend.
Happy birthday,
Sunday.
Memo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we're doing a little Zoom, all the families getting together.
Oh, that's stupid.
So anyway, we thought if we sink this bucket with air in it down to the deep end bottom, as kids, we're like, we could have our own little submarine base. We could go under there and then pop up under the bucket and breathe because, we breathe the air this time.
I'm in.
And then we're like, this is science. It's perfect. So we got some bricks and then some rope and stuff to the handle. And then we finally realized that like too much air, there was no amount of bricks that would sink it because it was just too. So we're like half the bucket full of air will sink down.
Yeah, you did the math.
And then So and
how
then,
much air will be displaced by the pressure when we pull it? Yeah.
And I remember I swam down there and to pop open like in the bucket, but I was careful because I didn't want to tip it over, let the air out, whatever. So by the time I popped my head into the bucket to take a breath, I was dying. Because
you're going slow.
I put my head in the bucket. I'm like, and then
it's all fumes,
chlorine fumes, and the tablet fumes from the chlorine bucket, the bleach. Who knows what my Memo was using?
And that was the day he became special needs detective.
And I remember,
that's what had happened. That's like your superhero origin story.
I was pretty close to dying on the day because
and that's when he became the pool bird.
Did you just freak out?
Oh yeah. I immediately whacked the bucket off my head and then came to the surface.
But it was like a different I feel like everybody across the board was tougher then because like if a kid did that now, I feel like it'd almost be on the news. I remember multiple times that my dad would run into the house. He'd have on like dirty shorts, tank top.
Yeah.
He'd run into the house and he'd be like, ah! goddamn got chlorine in my eye again. You know, you just rinse it out and go back to work. And he did that like hundreds of times.
And I used to just swim with my eyes open.
My dad would we talked about this. Would be pouring chlorine in the deep end, and he'd say, just stay in the shallow.
Right.
Seriously. And he'd say, just stay over there. It'll dilute.
Disperse,
You know, I don't even think you know what dilute means.
Me and Crystal talk about this all the time because our sons have pool goggles that they use, like
pool goggles. I got that when I turned 18.
I know. We didn't have. We talk about. We were like, did you have goggles?
Dad buy me no
mask.
Like,
hell no.
It's expensive as hell.
We opened our eyes and burning chlorine because my meemaw didn't know the chemicals. You're just dumping stuff in there. It was like you could probably dissolve a shoe if you left it in there long enough. And we just opened our eyes and
melting our eyeballs.
Yeah. Then you see blurry version, and then you close them, and then when you get out, you'd have to blink the chlorine out.
Oh yeah.
Your eyes would be watering red.
This is all what all Florida swamp trash kids like us did.
Yeah.
Like I remember my dad stabbing cheap bleach that he purchased at like Kmart with a Rambo knife and just throwing the jugs in there because he's like, there's too many frogs in there, mustard algae, and he's stabbing them, and he's like, you can swim, but just stay away from the chlorine buckets. And it's like,
also,
I think that made me strong.
Nobody was,
or it made me 5'2".
Nobody was watching us.
Like your growth.
It did. It killed me.
When my boys swim, like literally, like now they got to the point, like they're good swimmers.
They're great swimmers now.
Like
I think they're better than May now because of the pool. I mean, they're little fish.
I saw Max. He dived in the deep end and he swam underwater all the
good.
way to the hot tub, like without taking a breath. And I mean, they're really good. So like we took the pool the fence down and stuff, and so
they're responsible.
But still, I'm afraid to take my eyes off them for more than a couple minutes. But when I was that age,
we were always outside by ourselves.
Me and my cousins were all swimming younger. I think, and everybody was drunk.
Oh yeah,
and then no one was watching us. Like I remember one time at my Memo's house, like we were all swimming with the cousins and everything. We had this gigantic, like orange yellow raft that was round, right?
Okay.
And I remember like an uncle got it, and we were all like amazed. It was pre when pool rafts were like built well and expensive.
Yeah, well, he would have spent a lot of money on that raft. Yeah.
But I remember when I was a kid,
there was a time when pool rafts were only for adults. Do you remember that?
No, yeah.
Dad Lee, don't get on your mother's raft after your mama's raft. I spent $60.
They weren't toys.
$60 on that raft.
Do you remember when they used to have styrofoam blocks, and then they were made out of metal?
It was an aluminum and mesh. It was an aluminum and think of any aluminum and mesh standard dad at a soccer game lawn chair. Yeah. And then they would just put white styrofoam
blocks
on the side to float it. They still sell them, but they'd be retro.
The thing is, they would disintegrate into the pool because the styrofoam,
the sun would degrade.
Yeah. And but the actual pool float was big styrofoam blocks, metal, and then it was just rubber bands, bands to hold you. Anyway,
like that.
That's the future.
No. Get out of here.
Right.
Where'd you go? 2065? That's the newest technology.
Look at mid-'80s styrofoam raft. But anyway. Okay. So my uncle had this big circle. We used to play like King of the Mountain with all the cousins. Anyway, again, no goggles or whatever. So I had my eyes closed and blurry, and I came up to breathe, and I was underneath the GD raft, and
I found it.
and then I remember like I hit my head, and I was like, oh my God. Then I swam a little bit, tried to come up again, and it was the same raft, like pretty close to all my cousins or
swimming pool, floating lawn, lounge, float chair.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow.
That's the one. That is the one.
I could make that for sure.
It would be all rusty.
Yeah, here's one that. Okay, here's how it looks.
That's
okay, hold on. I'm putting this on so everybody can see it. Here's how they start to degrade a little bit.
I do not recall seeing those as a child.
Yeah. You were.
This one's
you're
for
too
sale.
young. I think I was.
Oh, you can buy. They put this stuff on eBay.
Let's get one.
I'll get one for my pool.
Yeah,
so
do it.
Yeah, but that's what it
little
looks like.
piece of styrofoam everywhere. That's what happens.
Yeah, and I can
the chlorine breaks it down. Right?
I can
and then
the sun.
You rub on it, and then I remember my Meemaw like, don't rub on the styrofoam.
My dad would. Okay, see this one. This is the one we had, and my dad would be like, "Don't use the cup holders; they chip." You know, I'd be like, "Well, then why are they there?"
Right.
You know, like all of this stuff. Plus, that was like you're looking at like $75 chair. I mean, that was like the best of that money could buy.
Made in America. It was like made in Missouri. Like, why was this made in Missouri? Like back when things were made here. Like what?
Missouri, we don't even have water. water here.
Like, wait a minute. This thing was made in a factory in Missouri, and you shipped it down to Florida? Like, that's crazy.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
All made out of metal and styrofoam.
Heavy as hell.
You need to get into the float business, Tom. We need Tom and Dan pool floats.
No, we're working on that.
Yeah, we're working on that. But now it's all made in China. It's all plastic. It's all
garbage. Yeah, nothing will last.
But cheap. You can get it for
50 cents.
Last one day.
Yeah.
You want to take a break?
Yeah.
We'll take a quick one and come back with more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
Tom.
And now Samantha is going to give you some emails.
Mm-hmm.
This one is entitled My Nitrous Experience. Colorado BDM here. I just heard Tom relive his nitrous experience at the dentist and threw me back to when I was in high school. My best friend's dad was also my family dentist. My friend had a key to the dental office because he would make a little extra money cleaning it on the weekend. One of our favorite nocturnal activities was sneaking into the office and ripping some nitrous. The beauty of nitrous is that it gets you super high, super fast, but the effects wear off almost instantly once you turn it off.
It's bad for you.
That makes it easy to go home and not get busted. One night, there wasn't a group of us as usual, it was just the two of us. He went in one room, I went in another. Of course, we were doing straight nitrous, which we learned later we should have mixed in some oxygen.
Yes.
Luckily, we avoided brain damage, I think. I remember laying on the office floor drifting off into La La Land when it hit me that it was almost my curfew. At first, I started freaking out knowing I was going to get grounded for staying out too late. Then it hit me. I'm not late. I'm in my bed. This is awesome. I'm already home. I totally relaxed and just enjoyed being in my bed. Then I started hearing a muffled sound. The sound kept getting louder and louder and more distinct. I thought this was odd since I was in my bedroom. Then I realized the noise was my friend screaming my name. I ripped the mask off my face and within 10 seconds was totally sober laying on the office floor. Clearly not my bedroom. If my friend had not brought me back, I'm pretty sure I would have stayed on the other side and most likely would have killed myself.
Oh my God.
Nitrous is still awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Didn't learn your lesson.
That's a dangerous game.
Nitrous is not to be screwed around with. I've heard so many horror stories. I remember one from back in college of a guy doing just whippets and getting so messed up on him that he fell forward. Like he lost consciousness for like a split second, but it was enough for him to go completely limp. And he just fell into like a glass coffee table, and the whole thing just shattered. But then when he came to, he didn't know what was happening. So when he stood up and started moving, he started just cutting himself. It was just ribbons.
I was wondering,
terrible.
Is that the same chemical that is the dentist office uses?
I don't think it is. I don't think so.
Because nitrous.
It is? Oh, well, I always thought there would be.
I'm sure there's a different mixture. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense.
So, okay, but those little silver cartridges that you put in BB guns, like the Steve-O used to huff, right?
Yeah.
So that's
what whippets are.
Yeah. So, but that's CO2 cartridges. No? Well,
Butler, just get in here if you're just going to yell off mic.
Come in here.
God,
you know
sir.
about the nitrous.
All right, get on.
What are you doing, a bunch of whippets over there, Butler?
Oh, God.
Well, that's the difference. The CO2 cartridge in your BB gun, that is CO2, but what you use to make whipped cream is a nitrous container.
Okay.
So it's a different thing. So you're not whipping what you use in a BB gun.
But Steve-O, because in that documentary,
that's a whippet container. That's what you use to make whipped cream and whipped cream containers. You can actually make your own whipped cream.
But there would be little silver.
Correct. They're silver tanks.
So those are nitrous too.
That's correct.
Okay,
that is nitrous.
So
that's why they're called whippets, because they're made to make whipped cream.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
You get them at Dan Paul knows, because I remember guys doing this.
So they're in the same containers.
And getting them.
You can get them at a restaurant depot.
Yeah, they locked them all down though. Well, they used to. I don't know if they're what they're doing now.
And that is the same chemical or same gas as the dentists use. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the dentist is cutting it with oxygen, so you're getting a medical amount, a dosage, and then with that, it's just
a concentrate
straight nitrous, and
that's why it's short lived.
But I always thought they were like considered to be one of the more damaging.
Oh yeah, to your brain.
Substances
it destroys your brain.
Yeah, I heard
people are using
out of a lot of things. It's
I
one
mean,
of the
I
those
looked
little
at
air
Steve-O
sprayers for your keyboard too.
I had a conversation with Steve-O, and he did like thousands and thousands of them. And now I'm not saying he's Albert Einstein, but he was. I mean, he was there talking to us. Fine.
Things affect people differently. Just because Steve-O is not.
I gauge. my entire life on everything that
Steve-O's
Steve-O
health?
does. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I saw this guy do like
I'm
thousands.
like,
Must be fine.
How bad could
how
it
many
be?
beers have you had? Oh, you don't drink anymore? Okay, I won't do that.
It's
one.
like,
Right.
remember I was at Johnny's that time, and then I forgot the guy's name, but I was asking him how many beers. I was like really drunk, and I got up on top of the table, and I was doing kind of stand up. Do you remember this? And then there was one guy there, and I was like, "How many
Was this
beers?"
when you got in the old man's Mustang?
No, it was a different time.
Okay.
But I was like, "How many beers have you drank?" And then I started doing the math, and I was like, "This guy's had 37,000 beers."
Yeah.
And look at him, he's
I do remember that.
And he's still alive.
I do remember
And we're
that.
laughing. And I'm like,
that guy still goes there, by the way.
Yeah, I
he
know.
does. He's a regular.
He
If he were to ever
42,000
stop
beers.
going there, though, he would die. It's like an old truck.
Yeah.
Like that guy has to go to Johnny's other side and get
Yeah.
a craft beer. If he doesn't, he dies.
Yeah, for sure at this point. But the evidence is you could apparently
He
have
has consumed. And think how many
50,000
beers he's had
beers.
now. That's been like 5 years.
I know. You could have 50,000 beers and then still be alive. Like,
It would make
he's
us.
not
I think it
dying.
would just make everybody
Maybe he is,
feel
sir.
better if you had a counter.
How many beers
What?
do you think Mike B has had?
Oh,
Yeah.
today 50,000 beers.
You I always look at these people that have rough living and
Yeah.
like the Steve-O's of the world, and I'm like, well, your body's pretty resilient because
That's
will
the trade.
it'll bounce back and and
But wouldn't you
could
feel
do some
better if you had a
Not
counter?
everybody's will.
Wouldn't you feel better if you had a
Right.
counter there, like tonight when you go home and you're sitting there and your wife's, what documentary do you want to watch? And you're like, you look up at your White Claw counter and it says like, if you looked up at it and it said like 15 White Claws and you're like, wait, 15 left? And then it's like 15 left for your life.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
You'd be like, oh man, you'd probably stop, right? Or would you drink that 15 there and then be like, I finished it.
I'm changing it tomorrow.
Okay, I guess I can take this White Claw counter off the wall. And
Let's do
start-
a. Let's
I'm
do
like
a-
15.
a
I'm
beer-
happy. I'm like,
Yeah,
yes.
God, that's 7 today and 7 tomorrow with 1 extra.
Let's do a beer count over the weekend, just to see everybody's average.
Oh, that's
Oh.
embarrassing.
Don't talk about
Okay.
it.
Bad idea.
It is a very bad.
I just
You know what?
drink
You're
White
fired.
Claw now.
You're fired. Yeah, that's I consider this extreme disrespect.
Alright.
What I started doing this
been
new
a good
thing.
run.
I'll take like 3 White Claw, and I'm like, I'm taking it out, and then I'm putting them in my fridge. This is all I'll do today. And then
Oh,
after I'm
you're
done with
tricking
that,
your brain.
After
You're
I'm
never
done with
gonna
that,
do
I'm
it.
like, I need one more, and then I'll go get one more.
Put it on ice.
And then I'm like, I need one more.
Yeah.
Everybody does that.
But I'll just
trick
keep
is
saying
Just
one more.
one more.
The trick is to take them out of the package, and then that way, when you walk up there, you're like, I think I got a 12-pack, but you didn't. You knew you got a 6-pack.
Right.
Here's another one that I like to do. I like to get a White Claw for the walk. So if I'm getting a cold White Claw to sit on my balcony, I walk and I get a White Claw for the walk back to the balcony, and that's my drinking White Claw. The other one is my sitting White Claw. I need one to walk.
Of course,
and
yeah.
run. And the one is in my koozie to keep ice cold. The other one is the one I pound walking
Yeah.
to the balcony, and then I throw the can off the balcony because if it's not in my house, I didn't consume it.
Yeah. Then the first one you drink out fast. And then you're like, I'm ready now.
Yeah. Now I'm ready to drink.
That one didn't even count.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, right. That's just getting
that's just
even.
prep.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the first one.
I mean, it's like putting newspaper at the bottom of a big green egg. You gotta light the fire. You know, something's gotta get it going.
Yeah, you gotta put the tablecloth
So,
on first.
so if you're doing math, the first one is none. The second one is the first one.
Right.
The third one is the second one.
Yeah.
The fourth one is the fourth one.
It catches back up to you. It catches back up.
Yeah. So it's
can't
1
cheat
is
the-
0, 2 is 1, 3 is 2, 4
4
is
is
4.
Yeah.
That's accurate. I think
That is accurate.
Yeah. Then everything after that is.
It's the White Claw math.
Well, then you do hit critical mass, and what I mean by critical mass for me is that when you get to 4 is 4, and it's usually around 4 is 4, where you go, I don't even care anymore.
Yes.
You know,
And then you go all the way to
you're
6,
like,
and then you're
tomorrow, hey everybody, tomorrow I won't even drink.
Yeah, and everything past 7 is 7.
No.
Yeah. You're
No,
like, how
hold
many
on.
did I had 7. You had 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're like, it doesn't matter because 8 or 10 feel the same horrible.
It's 50 o'clock sometime. Right.
All right, we gotta go.
All right.
All right, guys.
Bye.